5 o'clock.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Andrew Cannon. Coming up in the news for this Saturday, May 17, 2025, Police High Command and Prime Minister condemn brutal murder of Corporal Kamal Main, who was killed at his home in Claremont, Old Harbour in St. Catherine. Attorney General Dr. Derek McCoy defends government's decision to appeal the Supreme Court's ruling regarding the rolling states of public emergency. They had ruled that it is unconstitutional. NWC introduces special Saturday openings ahead of its amnesty, and UHWI condemns the assault on nurse who it says is one of its staff. On the international scene, Trump says he will call Putin to discuss the war in Ukraine. In sports, Crystal Palace won the first major trophy in the club's history with a 1-0 victory against Manchester City in the FA Cup final at Wembley today. The details after this.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
The Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF Police High Command is condemning the brutal murder of Corporal Kamal Main, who was killed at his home in Claremont Drive on Old Harbour in St. Catherine earlier today. Reports are about 5:30 a.m. the police were alerted after family members found Main unresponsive in his yard. On the arrival of the lawmen, Corporal Main was found beside his motor car with a gunshot wound to his head. He was transported to the hospital where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Deputy Commissioner of Police Richard Stewart, who visited the scene on Saturday morning, reassured Jamaica that no resources will be spared as the police pursue the criminals responsible for Corporal Main's murder. Stewart, who heads the force's crime and security portfolio, vowed that the policeman's killers would be found and brought before the court. Meanwhile, the Jamaica Constabulary Force is expressing condolences to the family, friends and colleagues of Corporal Main, who was assigned to the Kingston Western Police Division. DCP Richard Stewart also added that the killing is a stark reminder of the realities that the police have to face on a day-to-day basis. He also appealed for the public's assistance in bringing a speedy resolution to the investigation. He is appealing to those with information to come forward.
The facts that we have indicate that he came from his vehicle and was pounced upon and shot. The investigation is very young, and we are working on a theory. Yes, we're appealing to members of the public to assist in helping us to bring this investigation to a speedy conclusion. To other colleagues, I just want to point out that and give the assurance that we will not spare any resources that is needed to bring this matter to a quick conclusion.
Deputy Commissioner of Police Richard Stewart. The crime scene was also visited by Assistant Commissioner of Police Christopher Phillips, head of the Police Area 5, head of the St. Catherine South Division Superintendent Leighton Gray, and several other high-ranking JCF officials. The force's chaplaincy branch and welfare division are providing support to the family members, friends and colleagues of the corporal. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness said the murder of Corporal Kamal Main at his home in Old Harbour is a heartbreaking blow to his family, his colleagues in the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and the entire country. The Prime Minister made the comment in a post on his Instagram page. Dr. Holness extended deepest condolences to those who knew and loved the corporal. The Prime Minister also said he mourns with the brave men and women who continue to serve and protect with courage, even in the face of personal danger. Dr. Holness went on to state that every day our police men and women put themselves in harm's way to build a more peaceful, more secure Jamaica. He said the progress we are now seeing with crime at its lowest levels in decades has come at a great cost. It is as a result of strategy, investment and the tireless work of those who wear the uniform with integrity. We must never take their service for granted, nor ignore the sacrifices they and their families make on behalf of all of us. The Prime Minister underscored that the nation must never lose sight of the fact that the police officers are human beings, fathers, sons, mothers, daughters, who risk their lives for a safer Jamaica. He said Corporal Main's life mattered, his service mattered, and his death will not be in vain. The government is gearing up to mount an appeal against the ruling yesterday by the Constitutional Court. According to Attorney General Dr. Derek McCoy, he is hoping that the Court of Appeal will look at the matter in a different light and rule in favor of the government.
We are looking at how they justified their reasons. Obviously, it will take some time. We have some time in which to do it. The little we have seen so far, would suggest that on some important parts, we beg to differ.
Yes.
And we hope we perhaps convince another court that maybe they should form another view.
Dr. McCoy also highlighted the fact that the murder rate is trending downwards.
Mm-hmm.
There is, in fact, clear evidence, I would think, that there is very high crime, violent crime, crime including murders. And I think there's clear evidence that over the last, several months, that crime has been reduced. I believe we are experiencing today the lowest category of murders that we've had for several years.
Attorney General Dr. Derek McCoy, he was speaking on Friday on Nationwide at 5. Jamaicans for Justice JFJ is welcoming the Supreme Court's ruling that the frequent use of states of emergency SOEs was unconstitutional. Jamaica's Constitutional Court has determined that the high levels of crime that plagued the country over the 5-year period between 2018 and 2023 did not constitute an emergency. The declaration is contained in a landmark 44-page judgment issued on Friday. We have more in this report from Mahiri Stewart.
Justices Bertram Morrison, Andrea Pettigrew Collins, and Simone Wolfe-Rees found that the general high levels of crime cited as justification by the security forces and relied on by the Holness administration did not meet the constitutional standard. JFJ has hailed the ruling, saying it validates their concerns that the SOEs sought to undermine the constitutional rights of citizens. In a release on Friday, the Human Rights Lobby Group has strongly criticized the frequency of SOEs, consistently describing the tool as a deliberate breach of good governance. The group also expressed disappointment at the government's announcement that it will be appealing the ruling. It says the posture disregards the court's clear findings on constitutional violations and risks, perpetuating unlawful practices that harm vulnerable Jamaicans. Pointing to information it received from the Ministry of National Security, JFJ says 43 people were detained under SOE between November 2022 and March 2023. It says of the 43 people, only 3 detentions yielded charges. This, it says, questions the very efficacy of the SOE as a crime-fighting tool. Additionally, JFJ says it received over 100 complaints from people who were detained without charges under SOEs between 2018 and 2020. It says several of whom suffered devastating consequences, including job loss, eviction from their homes, and severe medical complications exacerbated by prolonged detention. JFJ says while it acknowledges the need to address the country's crime monster, that fight should not erase the rights of Jamaicans. The lobby group is also calling on the government to support those unlawfully detained under SOEs between 2018 and 2023 who are seeking compensation. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Opposition spokesman on health Dr. Alfred Dawes has condemned the vicious assault of a female nurse in a road rage incident that has outraged the nation. The brutal attack caught on video showed the nurse being violently knocked to the ground and stomped on while on her way to work. Dr. Dawes describes the incident as a chilling reminder of the lawlessness and growing disregard for human life that continues to erode public safety.
I am lending my voice to the chorus of outraged Jamaicans who are condemning the vicious assault of a female nurse in a road rage incident. This wasn't just an act of violence, it was an act of savagery. That nurse could have easily lost her life or ended up with permanent injuries. We cannot treat these incidents as just another headline. We must confront this culture of violence head on, especially when it affects our women and children.
The incident occurred on Tuesday. Her attacker was taken into custody. It's still unclear whether he has been charged. Dr. Dawes has welcomed the swift response of the law enforcement, including the Firearm Licensing Authority, FLA.
The FLA's investigation is critical. Firearm holders must be held to the highest standard, and any abuse of that privilege must be met with serious consequences. I am expressing solidarity with the Jamaica Nurses Association and the entire healthcare community, many of whom have been calling for greater protection amid growing threats of violence both inside and outside the workplace. We stand with our nurses. We stand with our women. Healthcare workers should never, ever have to fear for their lives simply trying to get to work.
Dr. Alfred Dawes, opposition spokesman on health. Meanwhile, the Board of Management of the University Hospital of the West Indies, UHWI, has condemned the assault on the nurse, which says is one of its staff members. In a statement Friday evening, the UHWI board says it unequivocally condemns this act of violence. It adds that no one should face violence or intimidation as they go about their lawful duty. The management says it's been in close contact with the nurse and has moved swiftly to offer her all necessary support. It also commended the JCF for their prompt and decisive action in arresting the alleged perpetrator. The board says it now awaits the full course of justice to be served and trusts that the matter will be handled with the seriousness it warrants. Government Senator Apka Fitz-Henley is calling on the Jamaica electorate to take note of what he says is the opposition PNP's fixation with taxation compared to the Holness administration's belief in equity and fairness. Senator Fitz-Henley made the call on Friday during a debate on a bill in the upper house. Siobhan Campbell reports.
Senator Apka Fitz-Henley says there's a clear difference in the approach taken by the Holness administration and the PNP's philosophy concerning taxation and incentives to support the economy. Fitz-Henley was speaking Friday during a debate in the upper house on a bill entitled the Large-Scale Projects and Pioneer Industries Tax Relief Act 2025.
During the last term, the PNP administration heaped $60 billion in taxes on the backs of the Jamaican people. That was an era when taxes were applied to patty. Hand-cart vendors were not spared, levy imposed on them. The PNP administration proposed that any time Jamaicans endeavored to take minor sums of monies from their bank account, that they had to pay over fees to the government. A wicked initiative.
He says it's clear the current PNP has not changed its approach to the issue of taxation.
What concerns me, sir, is that already, even as they seek to find favor with the Jamaican people, key spokesmen in the Mark Golding-led PNP have already begun to propose new taxes. They are proposing taxes on food imports, which would drive up prices in Jamaica. And we heard a proposal from the opposition spokesman on education for a 1% increase in GCT. I urge the Jamaican people to take note of these pronouncements, even as we are in a year of decision-making.
Senator Fitz-Henley cited at least 3 revisions in the income tax threshold by the Holness administration and reasoned that the government has done right by Jamaicans.
We have put in place as well a suite of policies such as the reverse income tax credit. And importantly, should not be forgotten, that due to our commitment to easing the burden on every single Jamaican and pursuing an equitable tax policy, it is the government of Andrew Michael Holness that cut GCT from 16.5 to 15%. Again, I submit to the Parliament of Jamaica that there is a clear difference in the approach to taxation between the current administration and those who aspire political office.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
The National Water Commission, NWC, has introduced special Saturday openings ahead of the deadline for its amnesty program. NWC says this is to better serve customers looking to capitalize on the discounts on arrears and to regularize their accounts under the amnesty, which is scheduled to come to an end on May 31. To this end, NWC will open its offices from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. starting this Saturday, May 17. This will be at its locations at Bevan Avenue in St. James, Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth, and Mandeville, Manchester. These special openings will continue next Saturday, May 24 and Saturday, May 31 at all NWC customer service locations island-wide. Under the amnesty, residential customers can benefit from a 50% write-off on accounts disconnected for 6 months. There is also a 100% write-off on balances aged 2 years or more applicable to vulnerable groups. The amnesty is further offering discounts of 30 to 50% on aged balances, waivers on reconnection fees, and flexible payment plans to facilitate settling remaining balances. The NWC is encouraging eligible customers to take advantage of the amnesty and settle accounts under the easier terms and to restore their accounts to good standing. The management of Scotiabank says discussions are still underway on demands made by workers at the financial institution for better wages. Scotiabank was responding to a report by Nationwide News on Friday that workers at the company had threatened industrial action if their demands for a better pay offer from management are not met. President of the Bustamante Industrial Trade Union, BITU, Cavan Gale, says it can no longer be business as usual. According to him, Scotiabank's management was given a final ultimatum of potential disruption in services.
The Bustamante Industrial Trade Union, representing over 1,200 employees at Scotiabank, has declared that it is no longer business as usual at the financial institution as workers grow increasingly frustrated with the pace of wage negotiations. After 10 meetings between the union and the bank to secure a new collective agreement effective November 2024, the parties have failed to arrive at a settlement. At the most recent meeting held yesterday, the union formally rejected the bank's latest wage proposal of 6% in year 1 and 5% in year 2, given the pressures faced by the employees.
Cavan Gale, president of the Bustamante Industrial Trade Union. In response, Scotiabank says it has always prioritized working with the union on salary negotiations. The bank says its last meeting was held on Thursday, May 15, during which it was agreed that discussions will continue on Tuesday, May 20. Scotiabank says it's confident that with mutual collaboration, an agreement will be made on compensation for the unionized employees. Scotiabank says there have been no disruptions in service to clients to date. On the international scene, Donald Trump says he will be speaking to Russian President Vladimir Putin by phone on Monday about ending the war in Ukraine, saying the call would be about stopping the bloodbath. In a post on Truth Social, the U.S. president said the call would take place at 10 Eastern Standard Time, and he would then speak to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and the leaders of some NATO countries. Russia and Ukraine were unable to reach any breakthrough when they held their first face-to-face talks in 3 years in Istanbul on Friday, although a prisoner swap was agreed. Trump had offered to attend the talks in Turkey if Putin would also be there, but the Russian president declined to go. And now to sport. Crystal Palace won the first major trophy in the club's history with a 1-0 victory against Manchester City in the FA Cup final at Wembley today. Palace scored the winning goal in the 16th minute. City, meanwhile, endured a day of total frustration as they failed to win a trophy in a season for the first time since manager Pep Guardiola's first campaign in charge in 2016 to 2017. The Indian Premier League's return from suspension was spoiled by rain as the match between Royal Challengers Bangalore and Kolkata Knight Riders was abandoned without a ball bowled. The game in Bangalore was set to mark the return of the competition after it was suspended for a week because of tensions between India and Pakistan centered on the region of Kashmir. And now for a recap of the top stories making the news at this hour. Police High Command and Prime Minister condemned brutal murder of Corporal Kamal Main, who was killed at his home in Claremont Drive in Old Harbour, St. Catherine earlier today. Attorney General Dr. Derek McCoy defends government's decision to appeal the Supreme Court's ruling that its rolling use of states of public emergency is unconstitutional. USWI condemns the assault on the nurse who it says is one of its staff members, and the NWC introduces special Saturday openings ahead of its Amnesty deadline. Remember, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. Use it next at 5 tomorrow morning. But stay tuned, as coming up next we have Sports Station Live with Wayne Walker and Eric Swaby.
shops at Creative Building Finishes? You, the homeowner who creates luxurious spaces with our floor and wall tiles. The contractor and builder who are convinced that our ceramic tiles are right for the job. The architect and designer who make dreams come true with our wood look and porcelain tiles. Superior customer service, knowledgeable staff, inviting showroom, and you get where this is going, right? Shop 5 Red Hills Road or call 876-929-5553. Get tiles, get Creative Building Finishes.
Pulled back here to Liamalu, lets it run.
European Champions League history will be created on Saturday, May 31.
Marino into Saka, brilliantly done!
When Nationwide 90 FM takes you live to the Allianz Arena in Germany for European club football's big night out. The Bayern Munich Stadium in Bavaria will be the staging ground for the last stand.
Lamine Yamal skips away from Mkhitaryan. Oh, that's brilliant!
The final battle to determine the best on the continent.
It is Declan Rice. Oh! Absolutely unstoppable!
The Champions League final is live on Nationwide 90 FM, Saturday, May 31, and it's brought to you courtesy of the Amber Group, pioneering innovation. And Anybet, your best bet.
Dembele has other ideas. What a chance! What a goal!
The game can also be seen live at Carib 5.
Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast from the Ministry of Agriculture's Investment Forum, Thursday, May 29th, 2025, at the Jamaica Conference Center. The Investment Forum is one of the many events during National Minerals Week 2025. The Investment Forum, with keynote speaker Honorable Floyd Green, focuses on investment incentives and sustainability. We will broadcast live from the event, giving listeners island-wide front row access to Jamaica's mineral future. Don't miss us as we unearth the possibilities. So tune in to Cliff Hughes Online, Thursday, May 29th. It's the Ministry of Agriculture's Investment Forum at the Jamaica Conference Center. Catch the live stream on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live too. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining.
Okay, good afternoon. It's Saturday, May 17, 2025. If you bowl it, we'll hit it for 6. If you pass it, we'll score it. Give us a pool, we'll dive in. And as fast as the starters gun fires, we're at that finish line. I'm Alric Swabia. This is Sports Nation Live on Nationwide 90 FM, nationwideradiojam.com, and Flow Channel 916. You can also tune in to our program live on our YouTube channel, Nationwide 90 FM. And remember to like, subscribe, and share our content. Coming up, we have another packed and exciting show lineup for you. We'll be talking track and field, football, swimming, and much more. But first, an athletics lesson from 1 Corinthians 9, verse 24.
1 Corinthians 9, verse 24. Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Did you notice when reading this verse that it doesn't say you must win or you will win? It is actually telling us that the kind of effort and dedication victory requires. Competing with integrity is the key here. Anyone can cheat and win, but what does that do us morally? It's not about winning at all costs or abandoning your values to do anything it takes to win. This is telling us we need to perform at our absolute best and have the self-discipline to compete in a focused, well-practiced, and strategic manner. If we do that, we will perform in such a way that will be nearly impossible to beat. Will we get beat sometimes? Absolutely. However, in performing with honor, we can feel victorious even in a loss.
Okay, so that was our athletics lesson from 1 Corinthians 9, verse 24. No, in our feature, you just had to be there. We lived by the men's 4x100 meters relay final at the 2024 World Under-20 Championships, with Jamaica taking the gold.
In 6, Korea will lead out with Jun Yong Kim handing to Jolyin Namwadi. Third leg will be Dongjin Kim, and the anchor will be Hugh John Na. Hong Kong China qualified in style. It will be Yat Lok Chan on the opening leg, Magnus Johansson on 2, handing to Chun Tik Kwok, and James Chan on the anchor. Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Jake Odie Jordan, the medalist in the 200 metres, sets off to Joel Masters, and then it's Dean Patterson with Teddy Wilson on 4. Trinidad and Tobago have Che Jean-Marc Wickham, Kadeem Chinapoo, Hakeem Chinapoo, and Dylan Woodruff as their 4. And on the inside, into Franklin Ewa Jarfoy, Sebastian Sultana, Zachary De La Rocca, and Gout Gout, the golden boy of Australian sprinting. They're in lane 2. The seeded lanes here are 5, 6, 7, 8. There is Gout Gout, only 16. First chance to see him. We mentioned yesterday, when athletes yawn in this situation, it's tension, not boredom. Body trying to subconsciously get more oxygen on board. So here we go. Jamaica, probably the favourites. Korea were so slick in qualification. If they can do that again, they're a handful for anybody. And Great Britain and Northern Ireland will want a medal from this. Baton changing, crucial. France have gone out pretty well on the outside with Delomine. How's the baton changeovers? Everybody's away, but it wasn't too clever for Trinidad and Tobago. And once again, Korea are going well. And they gain on the changeovers. The incoming runner falls to the floor, but his job is done. Korea leading, France going well. Great Britain and Jamaica. And Gout Gout has the baton, but it's a slow changeover on the inside. Great Britain and Northern Ireland being hunted down by Jamaica. In the closing stages, it's going to be... Oh! Who was it? Between Great Britain and Northern Ireland, the momentum was with Jamaica. He thinks he's got it. And he's right. 39.18, 2 100s ahead of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, with Thailand and another national junior record in 39.39.
Okay, so that was our feature. You just had to be there, where we relived the men's 4x100 meters relay final at the 2024 World Under-20 Championships, with Jamaica taking the gold. And as you see, we are joined in the studio by Wayne Walker for the second week running. A little rainfall. It seems like he's afraid of water. A little rainfall, and he decides to stay indoors. I don't know what.
Yeah, I actually prefer that than when you were at Carnival jumping the other day. I couldn't find you. Because, you know, all kind of people go to Carnival, you know. So, while you were out there jumping, we don't know. What is that, Kevin? We don't know who might be out there jumping. Yeah, it's good to be here again. Yeah, the rain. I hear the Tier 2 final is on, where Spanish Town Police taking on Treasure Beach.
Well, Spanish Town Police, they've won a 2-0 over Police. We'll be talking with both coaches later this afternoon about the finals, good, as well as them being promoted to the Premier League.
Very nice, very nice.
Okay, with that, we take a quick break and we'll come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Excelsior Community College 5K Run Walk is set to take place on Saturday, May 24, 2025 at 7 a.m. starting at the main campus, 137 Mountain View Avenue. This event is part of our 50th anniversary legacy project, and proceeds are in aid of providing financial assistance for students in need. Run with purpose, walk for change. Every step you take helps pave the way for a student's future. Register now by visiting our website www.ecc.edu.jm. Excelsior Community College, 50 years strong and still moving forward.
Share in the experience at Fontana Pharmacy. We have a wide variety of items in store just for you. Fill your prescriptions while you shop. And senior citizens enjoy 10% off. Shop household, cosmetics, toys, and many other departments. We also offer curbside pickup and delivery. Visit our website at fontanapharmacy.com. Fontana Pharmacy, where it's all good inside.
Step into a world of floral captivity at the Flower Show 2025, presented by the Manchester Horticultural Society. Embrace nature's beauty and the finest greenery at the Flower Show on May 23, 2025, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Ward Avenue, Mandeville. Expect prizes, surprises, and demonstrations. Admission $900 and children under 12 free. Discover the latest trends in flora and beautify your space. The Flower Show 2025. Be there. Sponsored by Caribbean Chemicals Jamaica.
Pull back here to Liamalu, lets it run.
European Champions League history will be created on Saturday, May 31.
Marino into Saka, brilliantly done!
When Nationwide 90 FM takes you live to the Allianz Arena in Germany for European club football's big night out. The Bayern Munich Stadium in Bavaria will be the staging ground for the last stand.
Lamine Yamal skips away from Mkhitaryan. Oh, that's brilliant!
The final battle to determine the best on the continent.
It is Declan Rice. Oh! Absolutely unstoppable!
The Champions League final is live on Nationwide 90 FM, Saturday, May 31, and it's brought to you courtesy of the Amber Group, pioneering innovation. And Anybet, your best bet.
Dembele has other ideas. What a chance! What a goal!
The game can also be seen live at Carib 5. Welcome back to Sports Nation Live right here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. I'm working out this afternoon with Kevin Williams and, of course, Alaric Swaby. All right, so as you heard there, the Champions League final on May 31, Saturday, May 31, the last day in this month, the last Saturday in the month. And the Champions League final will be live right here on Nationwide 90 from the Allianz Arena over there in Germany. In fact, we're also broadcasting the Champions League final live at Carib 5. So if you want to watch the football Champions League final in a theater atmosphere, then make your way down to Carib Cinema on Saturday and join us. We're going to be doing our broadcast from the platform down there at Carib. So as you enter right at the ticket office, our broadcast area will be set up there. We'll have our own analysts. Andrew Price is confirmed. We've got Calvert Fitzgerald and Pierre Battaglia, who's an Inter Milan fan. In fact, he lived in Milan. He supports Inter Milan, and he's going to be here in Jamaica at the Carib Cinema with us on Saturday, May 31 for the final. So two places. You can listen to it live if you're driving to the country here on Nationwide, or if you're in Kingston, or if you want to make your way into Kingston to watch it at the Carib Cinema, then we're going to have 3 of the theatre down there to ourselves, and so we can accommodate you. Come down there and watch the Champions League final. We have giveaways. It's going to be a big day for Nationwide with the Champions League final down there. Yeah? All right. Talking about football and big days, we're going to have one of the big days tomorrow here in Jamaica, and a double header at Sabina Park. The Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League semi-finals, second leg. The first legs were in Montego Bay on Thursday night. Cavalier Arnett left the second city at one apiece. Warner Brown and a good goal from McCleary. And then the second game, Montego Bay United. People say the 2 richest clubs in the country, yeah? Mobay United and Mount Pleasant Academy. They lead by a goal to nil coming into Kingston. So it sets up really, really nicely for a massive day at Sabina Park tomorrow. And I don't think there's anybody better to talk to us about what the plans are for tomorrow as we look ahead than the CEO of the Professional Football Jamaica Limited, Owen Hill. I think we have him online with us. Owen is there. Hey, Owen, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Wayne.
Yeah.
Afternoon to your listeners.
Not a problem. Great to have you. So tomorrow, 2 more teams will see their season come crashing down, but it's not going to be easy. Nobody knows which 2, and which is one of the great things about sport and football in particular. 2 massive semi-finals you have set up for you. Are you ready to deal with it from a crowd standpoint, an organization standpoint? Just put together what tomorrow is going to look like for us.
Well, I mean, I would say we're about 90% ready. I mean, there's still a few small things that we need to put in place. As you saw, we were blessed by the rains. So I think, the pitch is nice and ready for the players. We had a few training sessions on the pitch itself by the teams earlier today. So everybody's getting acclimatized. So we're definitely looking forward and putting, the necessary elements in place for a great fan experience. Tomorrow we expect a bumper crowd. I mean, it's do or die. It's it's a situation where, you know, everything must be laid on the line. So we expect a nice, you know, atmosphere. It's a Sunday evening. You know, it's the nation's best football. So I think, you know, we're looking forward to it, and we're trying to make sure that we get it right, because, you know, we've had some glitches so far, and luckily we've pivoted, but we want to make sure that we get this one right.
Right. All right. So 5 o'clock, Mount Pleasant Academy versus Montego Bay. The roles that turn the games around. So Mobay against Mount Pleasant at 5, and it starts at 5 because they're making provision in case they need penalty and extra time. And then Cavalier against Arnett Gardens. That game will start at 8 o'clock. So Owen, it doesn't seem as if we do very well handling crowds. It doesn't matter what it is in this country. We talk every day about, when you get there, you're going to be having this here, you're going to be having that there, and at the end of the day, you hear all kinds of stuff. People are planning to come down to the stadium. Assure them that they won't have an issue getting into, exiting the stadium at the end of the game.
As best as I can, I will assure everybody who is listening that, you know, we are trying our very best to, you know, make the experience a fantastic one. We have some nuances. Again, it's Sabina Park, so it's not specific to football, and there are some amenities that you may be accustomed to in, you know, the international space or what you're anticipating, but we're making do. So immediately we're talking about access to tickets. We are asking people to purchase their tickets online first, and there are some outlets that you can also go and purchase: Western Sports in Kingston, Maestro Sports in Portmore, Boot Gas Station both in St. Anne and in Kingston. And, you know, these outlets give people an opportunity to not be a part of the rush, because what we have noticed, our culture is, you know, 5 minutes before the game, everybody wants to get it, you know, or 5 minutes after the game has started and you hear vuvuzelas on the outside, etc., you want to get in, and you really don't want to go through the protocol. So one of the things that we ask that, you know, try not to come to the venue on the day to buy your tickets. Buy it online, buy it at the outlets, so that by the time you get to the venue, all you're doing is just looking for your entrance and access. In terms of the security... Oh, you're about to...
No, man, go ahead. No, don't go ahead. The security.
In terms of the security, we have doubled our security. For the last 2 stages, meaning the quarterfinal games, we've only opened 1 stand. For this game, we're opening both stands. So both the North Stand and the George Headley will be open to the public. So it means that you have more access points to the venue. More access points means more security, more surveillance, because we want to make sure, again, that you're safe and you're comfortable wherever you go, whether it be George Headley, North Stand. There is a VIP access point that, you know, if you want a smoother ride, you want a preferred parking, those options are available. So if you purchase your VIP tickets, you'll be able to park by St. George's College, which is Emmett Park, and then you'll have like a special zone in the North Stand that you will be fetted properly by, you know, a few other partners that we have on board, and you'll get a nice view of the game. So we're doing the necessary things, all understanding that we want the patrons to, you know, adhere to the rules and the regulations and the protocols that we have designed. Because generally, once there is a large crowd, and we know football is a very passionate game that people love and support, and the teams essentially are those teams with the kind of fans that we love. So we want to make sure that everybody is safe, and like I said, the police presence have doubled, the security presence also have doubled, and we will have multiple lanes for entry and exit points, and access to ticketing, etc., will also be doubled. You know, 2 bus, 10 lanes, those kinds of things. So we want to you know, limit the risk that something could go wrong, but we also have some contingencies in place should anything happen to, you know, possibly go wrong on the day.
You've given the location for ticket purchases. You keep saying buying online. Do you want to name the portal online that you buy the ticket?
Of course. CaribTix.com. So CaribTix online, you know, CaribTix.com. Once you go on that, you know, it's the number 1, you know, banner that will be there. You click on it. It's a 1, 2, 3 process. So it doesn't matter if it's a credit, debit, whatever card you have, you can use it online. So Caribtix on Come, that's where you go and get your tickets.
Yeah. All right. So one more thing, as it regards security, you're saying that you'll have adequate security to deal with the expected large crowd. But one of the things that I hear people talk about is the structure of entrance. Because suppose, for argument's sake, 15,000 people come one time who have their ticket. You might have a situation at the gate. Are you screened at the gate, or are you screened distance from the gate?
So we have a protocol guided by best practices. So we screen away from the gate. We try to limit how close you get before you're screened. But again, given the realities of the stadium and how it is, structured, it's not too far from the road where like the road network, and this is a major thoroughfare. So while we would have asked for the road to be, cordoned off or blocked, if you want to call it that, the municipal corporation, they are working with us along with the police. So there will be lanes and roads that are close to, the driving public. However, we still have to facilitate movement, considering it's actually a regular day.
Don't be so general. I want it to be specific, because I was going to ask you if motorists will be inconvenienced. So let's start with the road that's Camp Road, going from, say, for instance, the stoplight where the traffic court used to be down to the end of Sabina, the road that Sabina is on, or the opposite way. The vehicular traffic traversing that general area, will they be inconvenienced?
No, they will not be inconvenienced. They will be still facilitated. However, limited movement is expected. So if you can use an alternate route, whether it be through Vineyard Town, through Rollington Town, through Franklin Town, if you don't have to use South Camp Road, then we're advising you not to, because you may experience some delays and some traffic congestion. But at the end of the day, the road is still open to the general public who needs to go or come, wherever they're going using that thoroughfare.
Is it the same cost of admission for the George Headley as it is for the North Stand, except for the VIP?
Yes.
And what is that?
What we have figured out again is, the market and the sentiment. We're not trying to change the pricing mechanism. So, $2,000 for entry, regardless of where you're going, North Stand, George Headley. And you get access to the venue from either point. So George Headley is a bigger stand. It has bigger lanes and, the opportunity to actually get in, have a seat, be comfortable. That's pretty safe. North Stand is the preferred, I guess, because it's closer to the field and people get a different kind of view. But the truth is that stand holds just about 4,000 people. And about 1,000 of that will be sectionalized for the VIP. So if it is that you want to come to the North Stand and you come late, then chances are you may not be able to get into the North Stand. So the point is, come early, make your way into the venue, have a nice little seat, enjoy what is on offer, and then, once you're leaving, then you make your way to wherever you would have parked and be comfortable leaving.
Not bad. I mean, $14 for two high-profile semifinals.
$7
per game. That's not bad. You don't get anywhere else.
I actually think this is very manageable.
I think it's more than manageable. $7 for one game, $14 for two.
Given the economic realities, we're also conscious that we're not trying to outprice anybody. We want you to come and support. We want a packed house. So that's the important point. We don't want to, eliminate anybody because, people have choices.
Yeah.
Ultimately they could stay home. They could be, going somewhere else, the beach, whatever it is. We are saying if you are in Jamaica and you want to be a part of history, then you should be at Sabina Park tomorrow. And once you're there, then you're in support of football and the growth of football in our country. And I dare say the Caribbean.
Yeah, we've got the coaches coming up a little later on. They'll be talking to us about their own strategy. What I want to find out from you, though, those who intend to drive, and notice you mentioned the VIP will be parked over Emmett Park. Not everybody VIP, but people want to drive. Where do they park when they get there?
Well, one of the challenges we have with Sabina is that there's not much general parking across the actual venue itself. So we've engaged like the businesses along the strip, South Camp Road, in and around the vicinities, those will be open, and you'll be able to park within those, local businesses. Chances are you'll be parking at a fee to ensure that there's some level of security. And like I said, we advise people to come in numbers, but also make sure that you can, group. So if you have a carpool situation, you and your friends, you and your family, etc., instead of driving 5 different cars, then you come in one and then ensure that you have a safe enough parking and access the game.
Mm-hmm. You still have some sponsorship agreement with JUTC?
No, we
okay.
don't have a direct sponsorship agreement with JUTC.
Yeah, because I was thinking shuttle park and the Hero Circle maybe and come up the road just to avoid the heavy traffic.
We thought about that too, but again, it requires some additional logistics that it's a function of cost and the benefit of that. So when we thought about it, then the decision was made at the board level to not engage that way. However, to allow the local economy, i.e., the parking lots in and around the areas, etc., to get some amount of autonomy, and hopefully that will suffice.
All right. Last year we had this. We had entertainment packages at the semifinals. I mean, there was a huge one in the final where Nigel and his friends came on. Is there anything of the sort for tomorrow?
We definitely have something, up our sleeves. We're looking to execute it. The truth is I'm unable to confirm with you right now. Why? Because there may be some surprises. I'm getting some calls about people who want to actually come and perform. But as you know, it's a football game, so there are limited options for that. Plus, we're also looking at sponsor activations in between the halftime and the game break. So,
all right,
we're playing it on the fly, but we definitely have a solid entertainment package. And then for the finals, that's confirmed.
All right, fine. So, after all of what you've said, the last question I think I have for you is it needs light at some point to take us through to some. I mean, the 5 o'clock one we may not, but by the time it gets to halftime in that one,
5 o'clock. No. So the lights will be turned on from 5:30.
From 5, right? That's what I'm saying to you. Maybe close to halftime in the first game, we're going to need the light, but not at the start. But we're going to need light going forward. How about that? The last time people were there, 39 minutes were played in the game, or 36 minutes, and they left and had to go down to Stadium East the next day. Will we have a repeat of that?
Well, I mean, we actually have corrected that along with the owners of the property, because as you can imagine, that was a shocker for everybody, and it caused us some reputational damage. But we actually had a game on the Monday, so assurance was provided. We actually jumped in and supported, the process, and we played quarterfinal leg 2 on Monday at Sabina Park. And we didn't have a challenge. So we don't expect to have a challenge tomorrow. I personally will be doing some checks tonight again as a part of the pre-game protocol, match day -1, making sure that all the, the things that can be fixed just before the game. And we trust that, that will not be a situation where it reoccurs. And, contingencies are there. There's a generator which would have provided some standby power, and similarly we'll also have the electricians on site to ensure that if there's any anomalies, then, we treat with that.
Very good. Sounds really nice. What time you open the gate?
We open the gate at 3 because the game starts at 5. So 2 hours before the game, the gate will be open. And again, like I say, I implore everybody to get their tickets online at caribtix.com or, visit any of the locations that would have had pre-sold tickets so that you don't have a problem once you get to the venue or close enough to the venue.
All right. By the way, Owen, we're doing the Champions League final, and we're taking it to the Carib Cinema. Have you given thought to the final? You have
They say, for instance, at Murray's, somewhere in Montego Bay, in Sam Sharp Square, somewhere in Portland, to show the finals on screens around the country to sort of broaden the eyes that you have on it.
We have. I mean, that's a very good strategy that you have employed at Nationwide, and I think we will definitely reach out, to the Caribbean. Well, not necessarily Caribbean Kingston, because we want people to come to the game.
Mm-hmm.
But those who are outside of the vicinity, in the other parts of the island who want access but are unable to physically come, then we definitely will be having watch parties. So I know that there are a few companies that would have reached out to us, main one being Traction Records. But again, an extension of that can happen across the length and breadth of the island with partnerships through Ray and Nephew.
They're selling the public viewing rights. All right. I hear you. All right, Owen, thanks a lot. Seems as if you've got things under control as best as you can. We wish for you the very best tomorrow. We hope the rain stays away and we have a grand day tomorrow at Sabina Park. Take care.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much.
All right, all the best. That's Owen Hill, CEO of the Professional Football Jamaica Limited. Looking forward to that big day tomorrow at Sabina Park. We remind you, Cavalier Arnott at 8 and Montego Bay United versus Mount Pleasant Academy at 5 o'clock. It starts at 5 because they're trying to make provision just in case they have to go into extra time and ultimately penalties. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue Sports Nation Live right here on a wet Saturday afternoon, I suppose, in Jamaica, but let me be safe and say in Kingston.
Outperform, outlast, with top performance, Chakama, reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electricians. Fancy select tools, free parts and free repairs. Free parts, free repairs. In 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-61124. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
Are you ready for something mega?
Spend $6,500 or more before GCT, drop your entry in the box, and you can win a 2025 Hyundai Tucson. It's the Mega Wheels Tour promotion, April 5th to September 28th. Second prize, a $50,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Third prize, a $30,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Brought to you by Hyundai, Redstone, Heineken, True Milk, Grace, Walker's Wood, Downing, CPJ Daiquiri, and Carryburst. Choose Concentrate. Only at Megamart. Locations island-wide. Megamart, best value by far. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
The Excelsior Community College 5K Run Walk is set to take place on Saturday, May 24, 2025 at 7 a.m. starting at the main campus, 137 Mountain View Avenue. This event is part of our 50th anniversary legacy project, and proceeds are in aid of providing financial assistance for students in need. Run with purpose, walk for change. Every step you take helps pave the way for a student's future. Register now by visiting our website www.ecc.edu.jm. Excelsior Community College, 50 years strong and still moving forward.
Pull back here to Liamalu, lets it run.
European Champions League history will be created on Saturday, May 31.
Marino into Saka, brilliantly done!
When Nationwide 90 FM takes you live to the Allianz Arena in Germany for European club football's big night out. The Bayern Munich Stadium in Bavaria will be the staging ground for the last stand.
Lamine Yamal skips away from Mkhitaryan. Oh, that's brilliant!
The final battle to determine the best on the continent.
It is Declan Rice. Oh! Absolutely unstoppable!
The Champions League final is live on Nationwide 90 FM, Saturday, May 31, and it's brought to you courtesy of the Amber Group, pioneering innovation. And Anybet, your best bet.
Dembele has other ideas. What a chance! What a goal!
The game can also be seen live at Carib 5.
Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast from the Ministry of Agriculture's Investment Forum, Thursday, May 29th, 2025, at the Jamaica Conference Center. The Investment Forum is one of the many events during National Minerals Week 2025. The Investment Forum, with keynote speaker Honorable Floyd Green, focuses on investment incentives and sustainability. We will broadcast live from the event, giving listeners island-wide front row access to Jamaica's mineral future. Don't miss us as we unearth the possibilities. So tune in to Cliff Hughes Online, Thursday, May 29th. It's the Ministry of Agriculture's Investment Forum at the Jamaica Conference Center. Catch the live stream on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live too. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining.
Welcome back to Sports Nation Live right here on Nationwide 90 FM. Wayne Walker. We now turn our focus to cricket because Coronel de Avenue, licensed and Spanish. Well, let's actually do track and field because it's not cricket, it's track and field. All right, fine. There you go. So it's Coronel de Avenue, licensed and Spanish Town, regional champions of the InSports Devon Biscuit Primary Schools Championship. Coronel won the Western title. Of course, Coronel is from Montego, from St. James, and the Spanish Town, the Central and licensed from St. Thomas. You know, at the 40 finals, Coronel amassed 274 points and they won by 120. This ahead of Barks Road, also from St. James, 154. Black River Primary, clearly from St. Elizabeth, just behind in third. They scored 152. Howard Cook from St. James with 148.5 points were fourth, and Glenn Stewart fifth on 147. It was a second title in the last 3 years as they amassed 355.5 points and were 41.5 points ahead of the throne champion Nagahead, who had 314 points. Licensed Primary won their fourth straight Eastern Championship up to 290.5 points after 40 finals and won by 131.5 points ahead of Halfway Tree Primary. We're joined on the line by two of the winning coaches. We have Leslie Dennis of License and Naraya Barrett out of Spanish Town. Good afternoon, coaches.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Brilliant. We hope to get Carl Watson from Coronalde, but we have Leslie Dennis and, of course, Naraya Barrett. Let me start with the lady. Congratulations to you, Coach Dennis. How did you pull this one off?
Thank you so much. It's mere fact of hard work and determination. I have an excellent coaching staff with me, so we just come together, work together, and was hoping for the best.
Yeah, you scored 290.5 points. Is it a situation where you could have or should have gotten more, or you overperformed?
Well, I would want to say that the children overperformed based on what we saw. We have a fairly new team. We have lost over 27 athletes last year. So we're currently rebuilding. So I'm very elated with the students' performance over the 3-day period.
Coach Naraya Barrett, you too did well to win the central title, and your performance was no less impressive. How did you pull off yours?
Firstly, we got two extra coaches this year to work along with the jumps, the high jumps and the long jumps. cricket ball show. So once we fill those areas, we know we're gonna perform well.
You amassed 355.5 points. That's boys champs levels you're talking about here, bro.
In a championship, you have to think about the relays. Over the years, the relays are always a problem for we. I could get them to train. We have difficulties because the shift code, the shift system. Because some train in the morning, some train in the evening. So when we match them up to train for relay, that is the hardest part of it. But this year was born with the teachers, principal, and get things done this year. So we are looking for great things at nationals.
Yeah. So the relay you're talking about is both relays the 4x1 and 4x4?
No.
That's a 4x1.
And a 4x2.
4x2. Sorry.
4x2.
Yeah.
Because the 4x2 is a technical event because they have to do the changes that the different. You have the visual part for the 4x2.
Right.
Yeah. So we have to do the part is same as usual.
Yeah. But I understand the shift system and the problems that it would cause to sort of get everybody together. Could you then not have gotten in some Saturday sessions, maybe for 2 hours?
Yeah, we have Saturday session, but when I call that Saturday training, they're still not turning out, so still not work out. Even this morning we have training and we have 66 on our team and there's 35 turnout, so most of the Saturday they still not work out.
Yeah. Let's see, you have that issue as well?
The issue that we have is that the children have to go to lessons and Saturday classes. So it's very difficult to get the children all at once. But what we do, we try to collaborate with the parents so that we can at least get them on Saturdays after Saturday class.
What's the size of your squad?
It's a very, as I said before, it's a new squad. We have a total of 55 students on the team.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so both of you, next week Tuesday, the national start. It's a massive thing. Let me start with you, Coach Bart. How are preparations going? Yeah, I understand you have the issue between the two shifts, and then you can't get them on a Saturday. But those aside, you have to work with the issues that you have to work with. How ready are you at the moment, looking ahead to the start next Tuesday?
So far we have a lot of setbacks, but we are trying to work around it and see how best we can go into the national round and perform. We have some injuries, so some top athletes where we are looking for some vital signs from, but we are just get the athlete to the physio and see how best they can come back for this championship.
Okay, and Coach Dennis, how about your preparation? How ready are you?
Well, coming out of the championship just a day ago, our children are quite upbeat about it. They're elated. You could see the joy in their face, and I'm sure that they're all looking forward to go out and do their best as usual. I spoke to them last night after the championship, so they know that they have nationals coming up. The most important thing is that we don't have any injuries thus far, so it's just for us to go back to the drawing board and see how best we can get ready for week next.
Does the national championship come too quickly for you after your regional? You'd have wanted more time to kind of get ready for national. Both of you, anyone can jump in.
I say yes and I say no, because this week, Tuesday, we have DA Sports second round. So there's another performance they have got to put in there again. So I've just hoping no injuries coming out of that day.
Yeah. Coach Dennis, you would have wanted more time, or it's okay with you?
On my hand, it's quite okay with me.
Okay. Well, I want to wish both of you all the best at the national championships. Congratulations on being regional champions, and let's see how you go. We'll continue to follow your progress for sure.
Thank you for having me.
All the best to you. Thanks a lot. So let's see Dennis and Nariah Barrett, the coaches of Spanish Town and Lyson respectively. They're getting ready for the national championships, and as I say, we'll definitely be following them to see how they do, because they They really did well at the regionals. They racked up some real big scores. And who knows, if they should go to the national championships and do the same, then who knows where they can go. We're going to go for a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the playoffs in the NBA.
Driving your future means joining the movement that inspires. Whether it's the small but mighty Picanto hatchback or the top-of-the-line tech-rich Sorrento SUV, there's a Kia that perfectly fits your lifestyle and your budget. ATL Automotive has gotten Jamaicans behind the wheels of thousands of Kias for the past 7 years. And we're ready to get you behind the wheel of a Kia too. Simply visit the nearest Kia showroom for a test drive now.
In Jamaica, your rights are protected by our Constitution. From the right to education to freedom of expression, every citizen deserves respect and dignity. But remember, with rights come responsibilities. Let's uplift and respect each other and stand against injustice. Together, we can make Jamaica a better place for ourselves and future generations. Know your rights. Embrace your responsibilities. This message was brought to you by the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast from the Ministry of Agriculture's Investment Forum, Thursday, May 29th, 2025, at the Jamaica Conference Center. The Investment Forum is one of the many events during National Minerals Week 2025. The Investment Forum, with keynote speaker Honorable Floyd Green, focuses on investment incentives and sustainability. We will broadcast live from the event, giving listeners island-wide front row access to Jamaica's mineral future. Don't miss us as we unearth the possibilities. So tune in to Cliff Hughes Online, Thursday, May 29th. It's the Ministry of Agriculture's Investment Forum at the Jamaica Conference Center. Catch the live stream on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live too. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining.
Welcome back to Sports Nation Live right here on Nationwide 90 FM. Wayne Walker, and we're going to turn our attention now to the NBA playoffs. It's really heating up. The atmosphere on Broadway last night in the Big Apple was just electric. New York were in town and they took care of biz. Yeah, so they're heading over now for that showdown against Indiana. Yeah, for the Eastern Conference title and the right to play in the final. The West is not done and dusted just yet. There's still OKC and the Denver Nuggets in that series. That's locked up at 3 apiece. And Golden State out now because Minnesota took care of biz as well. It's been a really tremendous NBA postseason, particularly the semifinals. The first round pretty much went according to script. I mean, some people thought LA would have gone a step further, but no, the Ant-Man took care of them, and so they were bundled out in the first round. And they showed it's no fluke. Mind you, Golden State playing without one of the superstars of our game, Steph Curry. In fact, they started going south after he got injured. And so, Minnesota, very good team. And even with Steph, would have, given the Warriors huge trouble. But life was made easier for them because they lost one of the stars of our game, one of the greats of the sport, Steph Curry. And I suppose the same could be said for people like Cleveland. They had massive injuries. Don Mitchell, fine, he was there, but they had massive injuries, and I suppose it would have affected the way they performed in the game in their series against the Indiana Pacers. New York and Boston, it can't be said. The same can't be said. I mean, Jason went down at after game 5 or 6, I don't remember, but New York took a 2-0 lead and they led 3-1 as well. So they were pretty much en route to booking their place in the Eastern Conference Final. So we're going to be talking about that, and I don't think there's any better person locally to ever talk about basketball in the United States or generally. Let's call him by his alias name because he's known by that. His name is Pioneer. Pioneer, you there?
What's up, Wayne? What's up?
I'm good, brother. And there's also, no problem, Mike Roach, the broadcast assistant for the Toronto Raptors. Mike, good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, Wayne. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine. Meet Pioneer. Pioneer, meet Mike.
Yes, Mike. I think we have spoken. Mike and I have spoken. I think about 2 seasons ago, or it was it last year.
Oh, when you were on this. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Mike and myself and G-Star did a show one evening.
Okay, we wanted G-Star to, but we can't find G-Star, so we're gonna just beyond Pioneer will have to take us through this. Well, what better place, Mike? You would have seen a super game last night in New York, the Garden. It could have been tricky if New York had lost. They wouldn't want to go down to Boston, so they took care of business last night. There were talks about the raucous support behind them would have derailed their effort. It would have gotten to them because New York has not gotten to this stage in a long time where the entire city was right behind the team. The orange and blue were back out, the Spike Lee, the this, the that. Madison Square Garden, the greatest arena in the world. Everything people thought the players would have crumbled under it. No, they didn't last night, and they took care of biz. They won the series 4-1. How would you reflect on that game last night, in particular, and the series?
I mean, listen, Boston at this point. I mean, great effort in Game 4.
Lift your voice, Mike. I'm not hearing you so well.
Oh, sorry. So. I mean, it was just an absolute beatdown. There was nothing that Boston could do against the New York Knicks, especially now when Jason Tatum goes down. You wanted to see Jaylen Brown step up a little bit, but it comes out today that he was now fighting a meniscus injury as well that we didn't know about during that game, right? And so, Kristaps Porzingis, he doesn't look good, doesn't even start the game, right? He comes off the bench. He looks like a shell of himself. They just didn't have anything left at this point. Drew Holiday didn't look like the same guy either. And so, the Knicks just kept coming. Brunson, OG from a defensive standpoint. I mean, they got railroaded. They had absolutely no chance in that game. The New York Knicks made a statement. They pretty much said, if you don't have Jason Tatum, don't ever think that you're going to walk up in Madison Square Garden and think that you're going to be coming against the New York Knicks. That's just not going to happen. And so they beat them down in an emphatic way, and they said, enough of this. We want the Indiana Pacers.
And they've got them. Pioneer, how would you reflect on last night's game?
For me, last night's game was a foregone conclusion. Before the series started, we and I picked the Knicks in 6 for a couple of reasons. During the regular season, all the signs and the indications were that the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers would have been in the conference final. Both teams suffered from a similar fate. Boston picked up some key injuries at the end of the regular season. Drew Holiday was out. He came back around about the playoffs time, but you could see that he wasn't himself. Porzingis have been suffering from this injury that, according to him and his handlers, they can't seem to identify. We know that when he's healthy, he puts Boston over the top. He makes them almost unbeatable. We saw that last year in the NBA Finals. And Jaylen Brown himself, I heard Mike saying that came out today, but I heard from the first round that Jaylen Brown was carrying an injury. We could see the signs in the first round against Orlando. And going into this series, I thought New York, the injuries to Boston, and how I saw New York playing and the kind of resilience that they were showing in that series against the Pistons, I picked
New York to win. So after Jason Tatum went down, yes, Boston did come back to win game 4. What was it? Game 5.
Game 5, yes.
They put up a stellar fight at home. But you got the feeling that coming back to the Garden, New York would be ready. They are healthy, and they are playing at a very, very high level. So I thought they'd handled business like I expected them to. Maybe maybe a little more emphatic than I expected them to, but I thought they would have won that game in the Garden last night.
Mm-hmm. Mike, did you pick New York at the start of the series to advance to the final?
No, I picked the Celtics. And to me, you know what the really crazy thing about this series is? And seeing them lose 4-2? In games 1 and 2, the Celtics had a 20-point lead in each game in the third quarter. In the third quarter, they blew 2 20-point leads in back-to-back games. Now, to me, that is unbelievable. I mean, in those third quarters, if you saw the Boston Celtics up 20 points in each of those games and you decided to put some money on the Knicks, you won a lot of money. You won a lot of money because there is no way in hell that I thought that the Boston Celtics could be up at least 20 points in each of those games in the third quarter and lose. And so the Celtics, to me, actually kind of blew this in game 1 and 2 because they took those 2 games, the New York Knicks, and then went back home and got 1 out of the 2 as well. And so to me, that's where this series was ultimately lost for the Boston Celtics. It was games 1 and 2.
Right. The New York Knicks. Let's stay with them before we go over to the West. Now that we're on the East, so New York and Indiana. They meet in game 1 on Wednesday, next week Wednesday. Yeah, the first game in New York. The fact that the Indiana Pacers played could we call it a depleted Cavalier? Because the Cavalier we saw in the postseason, well, not in the first round, but the semifinal, it was really short on quality. It was way below the Cavalier that we saw in the regular season, even though we accept that regular season and postseason are 2 different basketball games. But the Cavalier were beset by injuries. Does it mean that we're still not sure how good this Indiana Pacers team is, since they played a depleted Cavalier and probably were not pushed as much as we would have expected with a Cavalier at full strength?
That's for me.
Either you can jump in, man. Let's have a conversation.
I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are obviously hampered. They played game 1 and game 2 of the series without Darius Garland, who is obviously their second best player. You could say him and Donovan Mitchell are 1A, 1B for whose team it is. Then they played game 2 without not only Garland, but they played also without Mobley and DeAndre Hunter, who they acquired at the trade window, who for me kind of gave them that extra impetus and kind of put them in a place and a space where many thought they could come out of the East. Those players obviously were carrying injuries, but take nothing away from Indiana. They did what they needed to do. This is a deep team. The Indiana team. It's a deep team. It's a team who is devoid of a major superstar. Some people might think Haliburton is that. Some people might think Pascal Siakam, having won a championship in Toronto, is I wouldn't call him a superstar player, but he's one of those players who is at that level. But the team goes very deep. People like Mathurin, people like Obi Toppin, people like Nemard. You might find a night, and we saw that many nights in the regular season, where they had eight players in double figures, scoring ranging from 10 to 21 points, and they would probably score 130. So they're that type of a team. They play at a very fast pace. They play intense, and they go deep, and they play good basketball on both ends of the floor. We were here last year, in the conference semifinal, New York versus Pacers, and we are gonna get a rerun this year, and this time it's happening in the conference finals.
Mm-hmm. Mike, you agree with Pioneer, or you still need to see Indiana against a full-strength good team to know what they're really made of?
No, they're really good. They're really good. I think they're coached really well, and they have a really deep team. And as he mentioned, aside from Oklahoma City, Indiana's a team that legitimately has about 5 players that they play consistently off the bench. Like when you look at Thomas Bryant, McConnell, Benedict Mathurin, Ben Shepherd, Jarris Walker here and there, Obi Toppin. I mean, they have depth. They have depth. They're really up and down, dynamic team. They'll put up 3-point shots. From a night-to-night basis in regards to Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam, you pretty much know what you're going to get offensively. And since the playoffs have started, Tyrese Halliburton has really played well. Really played well. Not shy. Last game to close out the series, 10 of 15 from the field, 31 points and plus 27. The emergence of Andrew Nembhard, he's really come on strong. Miles Turner, the guy who can stretch the floor for you. He has size. He can block shots. Nate Smith is tough defensively. I mean, overall, they're just really well coached, but the thing that helps them the most, is like you mentioned, is depth. The depth is there. So their best players, they can get a breather. And I think that's going to be one of the key differences against the New York Knicks. They play heavy minutes. Listen, they all play heavy minutes at this point. But you look at like Nembhard, Halliburton, Siakam, they can go 36 minutes, 37 minutes, sometimes 34, 35. While typically the guys from New York, you're seeing close to 43 minutes, 44 minutes. It's nice that they can get a little bit more rest to be fresh for that fourth quarter. But I don't need to see anything else from the Indiana Pacers. I believe they're for real. These guys can play. Even though Cleveland was injured and they were hampered, I will give them that. But the Pacers are for real. They can play.
Can they beat New York? They go to New York on Wednesday for Game 1. Can they win this series and go to the NBA Final?
I want to say something.
Yeah, hold on, Mike. Make Pioneer come in, yeah.
I want to say this, and I'm going to just add a little bit to what Mike just said. For me, this series will be decided by coaching. Mike just mentioned the depth of the Indiana team. We all know Tom Thibodeau has this tendency where he overplays his starters. I think that's what made a difference in the series last year. I thought he overplayed his team, his starters. Remember people like Josh Hart and Brunson actually going down in that series against Pacers, playing 45 and 48 minutes. People like DiVincenzo, who was a part of the team last year, played 48 minutes in a lot of games. New York does have a bench this year. It is up to Tom Thibodeau to trust his bench. There was a player on his bench, Cameron Payne, who I think is a very good player. We saw him. He was a part of that big run when he was in Phoenix. Deuce McBride can play quality minutes. He needs to go deeper in his bench. This Indiana Pacers team plays an up and down style. They turn a lot of games into trap meets. And because they're so deep, they can afford to do that. They rotate players and they play hard and they play fast. Tom Thibodeau will need to give his bench some minutes, to give his starters some rest for them to be very competitive in this series. On paper, the starting 5 of Knicks are better than the starting 5 of Indiana. But a lot will be dependent on the bench time, the bench production from both teams. And in terms of the bench, this is where Pacers can neutralize and can equalize. And it's going to be up to Tom Thibodeau to get some production from his bench players. And I think he does have the players to give him that production. So he'll need to remove from his ways of playing long minutes for his starters and trust in his bench players and give them some time so they can produce.
Mike, you agree with that assessment?
I do agree with that, actually. You know, Tom Thibodeau, like you mentioned, he does have that stigma around him, right? Like he overplays his starters. But, you know, going into the Eastern Conference Finals at that point, we may see that a little bit more from each of these teams now at this point, since it's really coming down to crunch time. I think, speaking of crunch time, they have the crunch time player of the year. And New York, they're going to really have to look at Jalen Brunson, because Jalen Brunson, to me, he's banged up a lot. and he's always all over the ground. He's taking dives. He's on his back pretty much every possession after going to the basket. He is going to be key. And the last 5 minutes of these games, I'm sure they're going to be rough. They're going to be tough. Guys are going to be getting hit. It's going to be physical. And the last 5 minutes are going to be crucial. And Jalen Brunson, to me, in that last 5 minutes of this series is going to be key.
All right.
It's going to be key. I'm not sure how much you can trust anybody else in clutch time when it comes to the Knicks other than Jalen Brunson. I don't really see Karl Anthony Towns doing much damage in clutch time, but Jalen Brunson, he is the guy to look out for.
Tomorrow, the OKC and Denver meet in that crucial Game 7 in Oklahoma. It's set to get underway at 2:30 tomorrow. Mike, break down that game for me quickly. It's a crucial Game 7. We all, as basketball fans, love a Game 7. We have one tomorrow against two really good teams. Shea, I suppose it's Shea against Nicola. You break it down for me.
Well, listen, this is a slugfest in this series. This one can go either way. I think something that's key is you're going to have to look at what happens to Aaron Gordon, because he did get injured. It could be a game-time decision, and even if he does play, he may not be the Aaron Gordon that we're used to seeing. And he is going to be pivotal in this game, okay? And the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're the team on the West that has the depth. They play legitimate 5 or 6 guys off the bench. You're talking A.J. Mitchell, Carson Wallace, Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, Caruso, Jalen Williams. I mean, they have a lot of guys. But one of the guys who's really going to have to step up in this series from an offensive standpoint specifically is Jalen Williams. 6 points is not going to do it. 6 points is not going to do it. He has to be aggressive, which he has been, but his shooting has been off. 3 for 16 last game, 0 of 4 from three-point range. Did give you 7 rebounds and 10 assists, 3 steals, which is good. He can affect the game other ways aside from scoring, but he's got to be able to put the ball in the basket. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is going to need some relief, and he's going to need it from somebody else. Somebody from the wing is going to have to make shots as well. I think Jalen Williams has to be that guy. Luguentz Dort as well. We know he expends most of his energy defensively, but somebody has to step up to be able to give Shea Gillis some help, and Jalen Williams is that guy.
Pioneer, the smart money would be on OKC, not only because they're at home, but because of what they've put together this season. Some people's money is on them to be the best team in the NBA this season, which is still up in the air. But then on the opposite side of the court will be a beast called Nicola. How do you see this one turning out tomorrow? It's a Game 7. Everybody wants to see this.
It's a battle of the MVPs, Wayne. Both at Nicola and Shea Gilgeous, they are the leading candidates for MVP. Like Mike said, OKC has the depth. On the other hand, that is Denver's Achilles heel. They have been struggling with depth all season. However, there was a good sign for them in the last game. We saw young striker coming up and putting up some points, knocking down some key shots, and giving them some impetus off the bench. The form and health of Aaron Gordon, as Mike said, will be key also. One person who would have been very disappointing in this series and very disappointing in this postseason is Michael Porter Jr. He's supposed to be one of those guys. He has size, he has length, he has one of the best shooting forms in the NBA. But when he gets off, he's a force to be reckoned with. But he has been MIA in this series, hasn't scored any points, and as a result of that, a lot of pressure has been brought to bear on Murray and Joker. He needs to show up tomorrow. Russell Westbrook, who spent most of his days in Oklahoma City, will be in OKC for a Game 7, a place that he's familiar with. You get the feeling that he might want to prove a point, so he's going to be key coming off the bench. If I were a gambling man, though, Wayne, my money would be on OKC. They're going to be at home. They said role players play better at home. We saw what Lou Dort did in the last game in OKC. Mike just mentioned the importance of Jalen Williams, not Jalen Williams, Jalen Williams, who for the entire season has been that second scorer for OKC. He'll need to come up big also. And Mike spoke of the depth of the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm looking for big games from people like Isaiah Joe, Caruso, and the entire cast of the Thunder. If I were betting, my money would be on OKC tomorrow.
Wow. Well, the only Game 7 we've gotten right across the semi-finals. Don't we all love a Game 7? It's for all the marbles. The winner tomorrow will take on Minnesota, and that Game 1 in the Western Conference Final is on Tuesday at 7:30, and the winner tomorrow will be at home against Minnesota. Remember Game 1 in the Eastern Conference Final, New York against Indiana? It's a throwback it's a throwback conference final. I remember the days where Reggie and Patrick and those guys clash up in the Eastern Conference. Well, Michael, made it really tough for them during those days. But this is really a throwback to the days. We expect some really great basketball in the conference finals, but we have a small matter of settling the second semi-final in the Western Conference tomorrow. I'll be watching and really looking forward to OKC winning this one. But Nicola, wow, what a player, can decide it. Gentlemen, it was an absolute privilege listening to both of you. Really, really knowledgeable basketball people. We'll have you back next week to look back at the last game and look at the conference finals, if you would oblige us next week. But I'm sure we're going to be talking before that. Gentlemen, have a good evening and thank you so much.
You're welcome, Wayne, and appreciate it. Thank you.
Not a problem. All right, so Mike Roach and Pioneer there breaking down the semifinals and the conferences in the NBA. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue with Sports Nation Live.
Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast from the Ministry of Agriculture's Investment Forum, Thursday, May 29th, 2025, at the Jamaica Conference Center. The Investment Forum is one of the many events during National Minerals Week 2025. The Investment Forum, with keynote speaker Honorable Floyd Green, focuses on investment incentives and sustainability. We will broadcast live from the event, giving listeners island-wide front row access to Jamaica's mineral future. Don't miss us as we unearth the possibilities. So tune in to Cliff Hughes Online, Thursday, May 29th. It's the Ministry of Agriculture's Investment Forum at the Jamaica Conference Center. Catch the live stream on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live too. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining.
Pull back here to Liamalu, lets it run.
European Champions League history will be created on Saturday, May 31.
Marino into Saka, brilliantly done!
When Nationwide 90 FM takes you live to the Allianz Arena in Germany for European club football's big night out. The Bayern Munich Stadium in Bavaria will be the staging ground for the last stand.
Lamine Yamal skips away from Mkhitaryan. Oh, that's brilliant!
The final battle to determine the best on the continent.
It is Declan Rice. Oh! Absolutely unstoppable!
The Champions League final is live on Nationwide 90 FM, Saturday, May 31, and it's brought to you courtesy of the Amber Group, pioneering innovation. And Anybet, your best bet.
Dembele has other ideas. What a chance! What a goal!
The game can also be seen live at Carib 5.
But is this real? Hey Greg, come look at this. Oh my, it's happening. Mr. Daniels, the numbers keep getting bigger and bigger.
Sir, the clicks are off the charts.
Hello, sales? What's the emergency? 9,000 clicks in one day? 3,000 order? So how much we have left? What? I'll soon call you back. Mr. Nakamoto, it's Danny from Jamaica. I need 5,000 of the big ones. We're back in business.
Yes, sir. Arigato. Suene.
Amplify your brand. Let Nationwide 90 FM assist you in tapping into a captivated audience across our social media platforms. For more information, contact us at 876-630-1210 or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Businesses, companies, and entrepreneurs, let's supercharge your brand.
Welcome back to Sports Nation Live right here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. I'm working out this afternoon with Alric Swiby and Kevin Williams. The FA Cup today was won by Crystal Palace. Ezra Eze was the man who got the goal, and he has been having a really good season. He scored in the semi-final against Aston Villa, and he was back here today at Wembley. And Crystal Palace winning the FA Cup for the first time in their history. They did it so at Wembley. So the South London club winning a silverware. And so we're winding down the season, because it's about one game to go. So one more game to go in the season. And I think next week, Sunday, Super Sunday, I think it is. And the battle for the Champions League spots in England not yet settled outside of Liverpool, who won the league. And then you've got the Europa League final on Wednesday. That will be in Bilbao. And Manchester United will take on Tottenham Hotspur in that final. And then we'll bring the curtain down on the season in Europe with the Champions League final on May 31, Saturday, May 31. And it will be Internazionale of Milan. It's Inter Milan against Paris Saint-Germain, the French champions. And that game will be played at the Allianz Arena over there in Germany. It's the home of Bayern Munich, the Bundesliga champions. And that game will be live right here on Nationwide 90 FM. Of course, we're also taking it to the cinema. So if you want to come and have a football experience in the cinema, you may do so at Carib 5. The game will be there in a number of the movie houses down at Carib Cinema. The tickets are $500 regular and $800 for box seats. All right, so we're gonna turn our attention now to the Premier League semi-final second leg. You heard from Owen Hill at the start of the show, and he says things about 90% ready to go tomorrow. They're just gonna put the finishing touches tonight over into tomorrow, and let's see where it takes us. Yeah, he says you can go to CaribTick to buy the ticket, and he also gave a number of locations across the country where you can go. It's Cavalier against Arnott. That game, the last game at 8 o'clock, because it was the first one in Mobay on Thursday, and that the opening game at 5 o'clock will be Montego Bay United against Mount Pleasant Academy. That was the first game in Mobay on Thursday, and Mount Pleasant lead that game by 1-0. Clifford Thomas with that expert finish for a defender, giving them that 1-goal advantage. Coming into Kingston, Arnott Cavalier, it's 1-1. It's all to play for tomorrow. Two teams will see their season come to a crashing end tomorrow. Who will it be? No one knows. At the moment, we are joined on the line by two of the coaches, Davian Ferguson from Mount Pleasant Academy, and we've got Xavier Gilbert from Arnott Gardens. Coaches, good evening and welcome.
Good evening and thanks for having me.
Good evening, Wayne. Thanks for having me.
Brilliant.
Good evening, Xavier.
Brilliant. Xavier, Coach Ferguson is greeting you.
Oh, yes, yes, my brother. How are you doing? I'm well.
Good. All right, so let me start with Davian, since he's got the first game tomorrow. Davian, 1-0 coming into Kingston. It's useless asking you if you would have wanted a bigger lead. Who wouldn't? But so far, the 1-0 is something that you can build on tomorrow, you think, and eventually take it home?
Definitely, as you said rightfully, we would have wanted a bigger lead. It's only half time in this game. I think their goalkeeper made 2 telling saves in the game, which actually kept the game at 1-0. But as I said overall before, the environment in Montego Bay, playing a semi-final versus Montego Bay United, which is a quality team, a well-coached team, was always difficult, and it showed. You know, we had a really good encounter. But as I said before, the game is not over. For us now is just about recovery, reviewing the tapes, and try to see how best we can plan for that one tomorrow.
The turnaround is pretty quick, you know. But John, that you mentioned, you know, recovery. I was just going to ask you how you coaches. I mean, you've got your work cut out as coaches to navigate 3 days, given that you played such a hard game in Mobay.
Yeah, it's never easy. I think that's the buzzword in all 4 camps. Recovery. So it's something that we have to pay keen attention to. It's something that we have been paying keen attention to, not only in the playoffs, but this season, if you remember, it's the first season that anybody is playing 39 games in a regular season, and then you have a playoffs. So that's a lot of football. So we had to, from the outset, start to look at how can we now manage the squad, how can we now prepare them from game to game, and most importantly, how can we get them recover to come each day to give optimum, whether it is in training or in a game. So for us, the buzzword has always been recovery is something that we think we have mastered to a very good extent, but it's something that we definitely take very seriously.
Xavier, you did not lose the game, yeah? You would have wanted to win it for sure, but the second best thing, you didn't lose the game, which is always a good thing. You're coming back into Kingston, where majority of your supporters will be at Sabina Park. They couldn't make it into the Mobay. I mean, quite a few were there still, but the massive part of it will be in Kingston. But the result aside, how would you put into perspective the performance, the general flow of play of your team?
I was disappointed with the performance, the way we executed. We had a game plan, and I know sometimes the opposition will kind of throw you off away from the game plan, but there were some things that we should have done and we just didn't do. Some of it we corrected in the second half, but at that first half, we weren't our usual self and what we set out to do. And hopefully we can come out and give a good encounter tomorrow. I'm happy that we didn't lose the game on Thursday based on how we performed. So for me, that's the positive looking into this second leg.
Did the layoff, having not have to play in the quarterfinals, did it benefit you or you wanted to play? And did it play into how you look on Thursday?
To be honest, I think it benefited us. It's not a long layoff. It's just probably about 10 days. And it has been a long, grueling season. And we started earlier than probably everybody else, because we had to participate in the Shield. So we also, I mean, 3 of the 4 teams had an extended period season, including Mount Pleasant, who also played in the CONCACAF Cup Championships. So including Cavalier. And we have to remember that we are playing the defending champions and the Caribbean Cup champions. So we know it wasn't going to be easy. It's a tough team. They always find a way to get the result that they want. We are mindful and we are aware of that. But I just didn't think we executed as best as we should have. But I thought we needed the break based on the amount of football that was being played, the amount of injuries we had in the back end of the season. So I'm happy that we got the break, and hopefully it can work in our favor.
Are your players tired from the 39 games plus the Shield?
I mean, every player should be feeling some level of fatigue. It's to an extent, even though not just the game, but just mentally also playing so much games there. I don't think any of the teams would have had players playing so much games in such a long time. I would have preferred, and I mean, hopefully the organizers are listening. If we're gonna go this amount of game, we should start doubling up games from probably October. Thereabout. I thought we had too many double match weeks, 2 games per week in the last part of the season. That was grueling. We had 1 game per week leading up to probably December, and then onwards, almost every week you have 2 games. So, I mean, I would have preferred introduce it a little bit earlier, so that we don't have so much 2 games a week in the latter stages of the season.
Davian, your team was marauding throughout the season. In fact, it was almost a record-breaking regular season you had, and so now you're the team to be shot at. You've got the bullseye on your back. Are you guys feeling the pressure of having to deliver as the favorite given the regular season that you had?
Well, I wouldn't say pressure because
or the expectation.
For us, football is something that we all love doing, whether we're playing or whether we're coaching. So it's natural, whatever comes with it, we have to deal with it. But for us, ourselves, as a coaching staff, as a group of players that we have our personal objectives. We also have the club objectives that they're aligned with our personal objectives. So for us, it's all about just trying to look at it a game at a time. As Xavier said earlier, it's a very long season. We would have done exceptionally well in the regular season. But you and I know that the back end, which is these last 3 games, are the most important in the entire competition. So we would have known that from the start. So for us, it's all about managing that expectation and being prepared for it, which I think we are.
Yeah. I've never been to a Mount Pleasant training session. And over the last 5 months, I felt myself wanting to be there. For one reason, you've got the highest number, I think, and if I'm wrong, you can correct me, the highest number of overseas players foreign players in your squad, including a language barrier. Celeste from Haiti was one of those. I had to speak to an interpreter after the end of the first semi-final. How does that go at training? The gelling, the understanding between, say, for instance, the Haitian players and the English-speaking Jamaican players. How you get them to work on one accord, to sing from the same hymn sheet? Is that a problem?
No, football is definitely universal in terms of how we speak. Plus, you have members of the squad who speak multiple languages. You have members of the staff also who speak more than one language. So, for us, in terms of getting the message across, it's easy. Also, we do a lot of work on the blackboard, as people call it, or the tablets, or whatever you want to call it. So, once they see the image, we do a lot of video review sessions. They're easy to catch on. Plus, they're footballers. For us, they're very talented, and once they come in, it's very easy for them to adapt to what we're trying to achieve.
Xavier, Arnett Gardens, perennial semi-finalist. I hear from your supporters on Thursday, just like you said you were disappointed with the performance. I've heard many of them saying the Arnett they saw in Mobay on Thursday was unrecognizable. They couldn't believe this is an Arnett that they know. What sort of a team talk, without telling us what you told your players, but what sort of a team talk it was? What kind of a journey it was coming into Kingston? Did the players take responsibility that they did not do what they ought to have done in Mobay? They didn't sort of play the Arnett game the way that Xavier wanted them to play. Did you get from them that they took responsibility for that and pledged to come tomorrow and deliver?
Yes, they did. Immediately after the game. I mean, and it's always good that you allow them. You know, my talk at the end of the game was, on our journey home, everybody should do a reflection, like we do after most of our games, and then we'll have a discussion about it. And we stopped in Ocherius for a little break, and already they took account of one, the performance and how we executed, and that was good, you know. But also, as a staff, we also have to do a reflection, you know, because sometimes the message that we bring across or the message that we give to them, probably we didn't make it clear enough for some of them. So we also do a reflection, and, you know, we had a one-on-one session between yesterday and this morning with quite a number of players outlining again objective and what we expect and how to execute and how to go about it. You know, so I'm happy that they did, but we also have to you know, the saying goes, players win game and coaches lose game. So once the result doesn't go your way, the coach is at fault, and we are aware of that. And we just have to ensure that the players go out there. We do everything that we can do to make sure that the players go out there and execute, and we have to continue to do that. And hopefully everything in terms of our preparation, there's not a lot you could do between Thursday and tomorrow's game is recovery because, the traveling and all of that. So it's more mental preparation and some tactical work and conversations.
Mm-hmm. You've got a fully fit squad to pick from?
No, but that's something that we can't control.
Mm-hmm.
And we just have to work with what we have and do are available. And hopefully the person just go out there and execute. They're upbeat though, to be honest. And I'm excited to see how tomorrow works out.
Yeah. We'll be talking to the Cavalier coach in a short while, so we'll hear his views as well. What about you, Davian? You've got a fully fit squad to choose from?
Well, I think we have enough bodies who really can make an impact. Over the season, we have exposed a lot of players, 30-plus players, to first-team football at this level. So I think the depth in our squad is deep, and we have options. Whether we have players out or not, I think whoever goes on the pitch is Mount Pleasant and Mount Pleasant quality. And I think they're really rearing for the opportunity to go out there and make a name for themselves.
Yeah. You know why I talk to you coaches first? Because you got the rest. So I'm giving the other two coaches an extra 10 minutes or 20 minutes to rest before we talk to them. So let's listen, man. Davian and Xavier, you're two brilliant coaches. Sadly, two teams will have to go tomorrow. We don't know who will be going. But I'm sitting here tonight wishing both of you all the best tomorrow in your second leg semi-finals, and hope that at the end of the night that you'll be in a good place, looking forward to battle for the title on Labor Day.
Yeah, man.
Thanks so much.
All the best to you, coaches. Xavier Gilbert and Davian Ferguson there from Mount Pleasant and Arnett Gardens. As I said, we're going to be talking to Mr. Rudolph Speed, and we hope to get a representative from Montego Bay United to talk to us about the semi-finals come tomorrow. They're going to be massive games. Make no doubt about that, no mistake about that. They're going to be massive games, and we can't wait to see them perform tomorrow at Sabina Park. Arnett Gardens, though, they fell at the semi-final hurdles last year. I think they did the year before as well, and I'm sure their supporters must be disgusted that they can't seem to get over that hurdles. They've won the title on at least 4 or 5 occasions, so they know how it feels and what it takes to win the title, but they just seem to can't get over the semi-final hurdles for the last couple of seasons. Cavalier is proving to be difficult to stop once they get into the postseason, and people were worried about Cavaliers' form coming into the postseason. I don't know, regular football watchers I'm sure wouldn't be too perturbed, because Cavalier do this every season almost. They play within their limitations, knowing that when they get into the semifinals, it's going to be their time of the season. And so I don't know tomorrow if it's going to be the end for them as far as the season is concerned, or it's going to be end for Cavalier. We're hoping to talk to Rudolph Speed. We did make the arrangement and confirm his availability for this interview, so we're now trying to reach him. We didn't quite get onto anyone from Montego Bay while we're coming on air, but we're also trying to get someone from Montego Bay United as well. The West Indies have a new captain in Ruston Chase. A big surprise to a lot of people. It's something that we probably could spend some time on, but let's see. He debuts on June 25 against Australia in the first test at Kensington Oval. So one Bajan replacing another Bajan. He replaces Craig Brathwaite. We're going to go for a break as we try to make connection with the two coaches.
Pulled back here to Liamalu, lets it run.
European Champions League history will be created on Saturday, May 31.
Marino into Saka, brilliantly done!
When Nationwide 90FM takes you live to the Allianz Arena in Germany for European club football's big night out. The Bayern Munich Stadium in Bavaria will be the staging ground for the last stand.
Lamine Yamal skips away from Mkhitaryan. Oh, that's brilliant!
The final battle to determine the best on the continent.
It is Declan Rice. Oh! Absolutely unstoppable!
The Champions League final is live on Nationwide 90 FM, Saturday, May 31, and it's brought to you courtesy of the Amber Group, pioneering innovation. And Anybet, your best bet.
Dembele has other ideas. What a chance! What a goal!
The game can also be seen live at Carib 5.
As a parent, you give your children a good start in life. You nurture, protect, and guide them. Parenting is a process that prepares your child for independence. As your child grows and develops, there are many things you can do to help your child. Stay tuned to The Big Show, Nationwide this morning, for parenting tips. Fridays at 6:53 a.m. Only here will you learn everything you need to know about parenting. Tips to help parents navigate the incredibly challenging and rewarding journey of child rearing. Parenting tips on Nationwide at 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Welcome back to Sports Nation Live right here on Nationwide 90 FM. It's 5 minutes to the 7 o'clock hour, and we're going to be talking football. We were talking football at the Premier League level. We're now talking about a league that has promoted 2 teams to the Premier League, and that's the Jamaica Football Federation Tier 2. It's the Jamaica Football Championships, but it's popularly known as Tier 2. And Spanish Town Police and Treasure Beach from last week were promoted. They got to the final of the championship. And today, the championship had its final at Draxall. And Treasure Beach lost that final 2-0 to the Spanish Town Police. They're champions of the JFF Tier 2. This was Treasure Beach's first defeat of the season. And of course, you remember Treasure Beach was in the Premier League. They were relegated last season. So at the first time of asking, they're back in the nation's top flight. We're joined by the coach of Treasure Beach, Kennar Ricketts, and also Mr. Stanley Gardner. Coaches, good evening and welcome to Nationwide.
Good evening to you too, sir.
Right. Congratulations on your ascension to the nation's top flight, coaches.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're both on your way back into Kingston and Trilo and St. Elizabeth, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, I hear that. Coach Gardner, let me talk to you first. And one of the reasons why I want to talk to you, tell people that it is not a police team. It's only called Spanish Town Police. It's actually a club.
Wow, it is really a club.
Right.
It is really a club.
Because I hear people asking how the police train, and if thieves not in Spanish Town, what if the police are trained and something happens, they have to run off of the field of training, go apprehend them and carry them over the station, then go back to training.
What happened, the fact of the matter is,
yes.
This police club was founded by a former commissioner of police when violence were rampant in Spanish Town. We were asked to, go into the unprescribed area, not the ghetto area. I don't like to use the word ghetto.
All right.
They're going to the unprescribed area.
Yes.
And these youngsters, because these youngsters see crime, violence as like breakfast. So we were the people to go to this volatile era to see if we could, use our police tactics to change the image, the impact. And we start out when we started out, we were seeing that the police team then, because it was mostly policemen, we were seen as Cinderella teams. Right? So everybody beat you up 3 low, 4 low, 6 low, 12 low, and all. But they didn't know our objective. Nevertheless, they buy into the whole thing, and we end up start to invite these players. So and that's where it starts.
All right, so Coach Gardner, you won the Tier 2 today. You beat Treasure Beach, the first defeat of the season for Treasure Beach. I don't think it mattered too much because they've reached their objective of reaching the Premier League. But how about today's game? Was it a fierce one?
To be honest with you, for a team that, like Treasure Beach, who I was told never, well, they have lost a game. They must have been doing something well. But when we met this evening, I don't know why, the impression that I, see from the players, I don't know if they were, how should I put it? They were
on holidays.
On holidays, right? But I mean, we have played against other teams that show far better qualities. But football is what it is, right? Sometimes you have a bad day. They're a good couple of youth, but boy, I don't know. But we were far advanced than them today, far advanced. If luck wasn't us, we would have could have scored about 4 or 5 goals. But nevertheless, we're satisfied for the 2-0 and satisfied for the victory.
Yeah. Coach Kennard Ricketts, did your players check out mentally, having already reached the objective of reaching the Premier League? Coach Gardner says you guys didn't really, look like a team that was unbeaten, but it could be that you've checked out mentally, having already qualified for the Premier League. Was it so?
All right. So one, I'm very, very disappointed in the statement that he would have made a while ago about being further away. Because when you look, especially in the first half and on the start of the second half, we should have equaled the game. You know what I mean? The football is a game of moments, and they had their moments. They took their moments. No kudos to them. We went on 16 games, 17 games. We lost our first loss of the season, and I could point at different reasons why I would think that we will lost the game, but. Does it matter now for me to say that we did not play with our most lethal striker all season? A matter of fact, 3 of our starters who would have started 90% of our game didn't get to play, and he would have seen we made an emergency substitution of our best midfielder, Romario Smith, who we got loan from Mobay. So I can't sit here and say, they were first ahead. We're heading to the Premier League, and we'll see games matters most. This is really game. Congratulations to the Spanish Town team. But I must say congratulations to my team as well. We would have completed our objective, which is getting back to the Premier League. Right? And that's what we're satisfied with.
Let me ask you, Coach Ricketts. It's difficult. It's more difficult to get back to the Premier League than to be relegated from the Premier League. A lot of
and we did it in 1 year.
Which is what I'm going to ask you. How did you manage to get back at the first time of asking?
Let me tell you about the squad. We have 16 schoolboys playing. 16 boys that are under the age of 19-year-old. If you ask him about his squad, he tell you they have a lot of mature players. But he didn't know that because we mix in some of the more experienced players. We have 8 experienced players along with.
We're losing your Coach Ricketts. They're on the road. They're on the way back to St. Elizabeth. So I can appreciate that at some point during the traverse, they might encounter areas that they lose signal. So let me take Coach Gardner until Ricketts gets his batteries back. Coach Gardner, this is historic for Spanish. By the way, I hear that Siobhan Ellis used to play for you. He was captain.
Yes, man. He was the man.
Okay.
He was a product of that our police team too.
Brilliant.
Yes, man.
Right. So let me ask you now. The Premier League is a very expensive place to be in. You know that?
Oh, tell me. Well. In my time, I usually play for Thunderbolts.
Mm-hmm.
And we usually call it Craven League.
The Craven Premier League.
Yes, but no Premier League. It is very expensive. I know it is very expensive, but the support. Well, we definitely have to get some support in order to be sustainable in what we are doing.
Yeah.
Because this is really big. I read an article most recently that Thomas from Mullines, or coach of Mullines, was saying that the smallest team, the young team in this league, need to get some funding. And boy, I hope somebody would jump at it and help you, because we definitely need help.
Right. So while you were on this journey, this Tier 2 journey, going to qualify to the Premier League, I'm sure at some stage you realize that you might get there. What the plans do you have in place to get clearly you want to strengthen your squad because you're going to need, top players to play in the top league. Not that your players are not top players, but you're going to need experience as well. How are you going to go about? What's the structure like? How are you going to be going? When are you going to start now sitting down with management and the board to plan the way forward in terms of money? Because it's going to be the number one issue for you.
All right. The plan we have, we're going to give the players and at least a 2-week break because we learned that the Premier League is going to start in August. And we are, of course, we have to go in the market for additional players, definitely, right? But we are just going to take it one step at a time. We are going to look at about the funding, and then without the funding, we can't get the players in. Because each club, whoever player we are going to get, I know they are going to need some form of stipend. So we have to make sure that we deal with the funding part first, and then the player comes after.
Yeah. How did you get through, Mr. Coach Ricketts? You back? No, we've not. Okay, I heard that his battery died. All right. So Coach Gardner, the players. So you're gonna give the players a 2-week break, yeah? But you're gonna also have to let go some of the players, right?
Definitely.
And then those players you're gonna let go. When are you gonna tell them?
After the 2-week break, we are going to, first and foremost, we are planning to have a recruitment drive in terms of inviting players to, we're planning to have a recruiting drive. And then from there on, because we have, as it is, we have highlight players who we definitely not going to go forward for many reasons. They don't love to train, their attitude is not right, But we after the 2-week break, and we sit down with the committee, then we'll make the decision there as to who we are going to cut.
Where do you train?
At the police training school.
Oh, okay, cool. The players who participated in this tier 2, do you give them a stipend? I'm sure you can't pay them, but do you give them a stipend?
They do at times. Not everybody, but some. I tell you what happened. We have about 70% of the players who work, and those who don't work, we do sometimes give them some stipend.
Okay, that.
And it is really minimal, really minimal.
No, I understand. Which is why I've stressed that you're going to now need real money if you're going to participate in the Premier League. Because a lot of the reasons, one of the main reasons why the teams who come up go down is because they find it difficult to finance the squad, one, to bring in big and top players, and two, to pay the players when they play. Because now you can't give stipend, you have to pay the players.
Definitely. That is what that's why we are saying. I am saying that without funding right now, which the funding is a must. Without funding, it's like we are just going to go in and just come out back. The funding is important. Nobody is going to release a player unless they know that they're getting some stipend or something.
What about you as a coach, though, Stanley? You're going to need the help to perform at the top level, or you think you have the requisite expertise to mix it up with the big coaches at the top?
Well, I'm going to need help. Definitely, I'm going to need help because I have a D license and and I've level 2 one thing, but that the Premier League require a thing of D license.
Yes, man, you're gonna need that. So how are you gonna do that? How are you gonna navigate that? Because
I have a lot of friends who are coaches who are willing to come on board, man.
So you'll have a new head coach then?
Definitely.
Because you don't have the B license?
No, I don't have the B license.
When are you gonna do it?
In the shortest possible time, I'm going to do that.
In time.
In time.
Oh, okay. I understand that Kennar Ricketts, the coach of Treasure Beach, is back with us. Coach?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So your club, you were not the coach at the time. It was Rambo. But when your club came up, it would have given you a lot of experience of the do's and don'ts, and you got your feet wet. Jason and the rest, they now have the experience of how to navigate a full season, the kind of money it's going to take, the sort of expertise it's going to take. What about you and the coach? You have your B license?
Yes, I'm a B license.
So you
actually, Actually, I have 2 B licenses, but UEFA B physical license, and I have a contact of B license.
Very nice. So you'll be the head coach. The board has made that decision that you're going to take the team into the Premier League.
Well, we'll see. The technical director.
No, I'm losing you again. Who is the technical director?
I am actually the technical director of the club.
Okay. So will you take over? Or you're going to get a coach?
Well, we have not we'll refocus and we'll say that before we have some youth I'm looking at. So some planning to do, put it this way.
Will you have a lot of strengthening to do in terms of personnel, player personnel?
Yes, but when we look at the previous season, there was something that we have done that we don't want to repeat. And so we'll be making some planning and better recruitment of players and stuff. Want some experience. We need some talent as well. So we have a strategic way that we're looking at in getting to the Premier League. I mean, one of the first things that we have to look at is how we can stabilize the club being in the Premier League. Because we know that it's a way different level when you go there, as we would have seen over a year ago.
Mm-hmm. And your location might be a problem for outside players if you're gonna recruit players from far and wide. You think?
I think so.
Apologies, people. We're not keeping Coach Ricketts. He's gone again. He's heading back. He's on his way back to St. Elizabeth. I'm not sure where on the island these are.
Hello?
Yes, Coach.
Are you hearing me now?
Yeah, man. You're in and out. Yeah, we're hearing you better now.
I'm traveling. So
man,
I really apologize for the.
No, man, that's fine. No, man, we understand that, man. We did say it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right. So where we're located is at a really good area. In the southern part of St. Elizabeth. It's near the beach side. But what we're doing is we're looking after accommodation. As a matter of fact, we have players on accommodation there already who would have helped to propel the team back to Premier League.
Yeah. And when I said might have a problem, I was actually talking about accommodation. So I'm happy you went there.
Yeah, man. We have that. We don't. Never mind. I said we have been to the Premier League already, so we would have learned a lot of lessons. All of those L's were lessons and not losing, right? So now we want to get a lot of things right. You know what I mean? The financial sustainability, player recruitment, youth teams and all of these things. It's some of the things that we must look at in terms of having the club stabilized and having longevity.
Is it worth it though to the trouble of going to tier 2 to try to get to the Premier League and then have to struggle from week to week for money and then eventually you're out? Because a lot of teams, they have the ambition of playing in the Premier League, but they say we are realistic. We don't have the money. We can't deal with it. We can't come up and then go back down, and we prefer to make sure that we're stabilized and then have a go at it. You are in that position where you now stabilize your thing to have a go at it.
I mean, listen, man, nobody wants to associate themselves with losers. So I think what we're looking at is something more than just a football club. Remember, we're the only team in Premier League. Well, Carolina lost 2 teams. They had 3. So now it's Chapel Maroon and Treasure Beach on that southern part of the island. So we're looking at maximizing, the location, geographically, and see how we can sustain the club. I mean, it can be a difficult thing. But we want to present opportunities to different youngsters. We want to be a place where people can look at us and say, all right, let me go to Treasure Beach because maybe I can get different opportunities. And I can say this. I think, retired police, the gentleman for Spanish Town, the police training camp is located in Treasure Beach.
Oh.
So there's a whole other opportunity that is there that we can capitalize on with these youngsters. You know what I mean? There's opportunity within playing football. At a hotel, if you're into hospitality, then we have guest house and hotels there that we can maybe offer different opportunities. So we're looking at more than just a football club.
All right, not a problem. Coach Stanley, you have any idea who you have? You probably don't want to say publicly because you might be negotiating with them. But do you have an idea of the coach that you're going to be approaching to coach a team? You don't have to say the name because, as I say, maybe you're at the moment still negotiating. But do you have an idea who you want to coach a team?
No, I just want. I'm our club has since we have automatically qualified for the Premier League. There are several coaches who definitely, you know, willing to assist, right? And as you say, I don't want to disclose who they are, but only to say though, they are willing and able.
Oh, so you have coaches who have already started to show interest.
Definitely.
Okay, but Coach Stanley, you're a big coach, you know. Is Trelawney your beat, right?
Yes.
No, seriously, you know how long Trelawney trying to come to the Premier League, and everybody's sure that this year is their year, and you go down and you beat them on them.
Well, you know, the average players who play on my side, I have gone from the playing. Our club is nearly 40 years now, 42 years now, and the average players on my team, players, they're some of them have been playing for over 10 years. You make mention of Southern Walsh. Southern Walsh was when Southern Walsh played under 17 for me for about 2 years. Then division for 2 years before he returned to university.
Yeah.
So the players themselves understand my philosophy, and they are able, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we are extremely patient with them, and this is a result of their commitment.
All right. So, coaches, what will you be doing, if anything, for the team, the players that took you to the Premier League? You're gonna have a dinner for them? You're gonna have a little get together to show your appreciation? Anything planned for them?
My club is having a parade tomorrow through the community, and then we'll have a celebration dinner, and for them afterwards tomorrow.
Oh, so tomorrow is a big day for you.
Yeah, man. That's why I could say there's different reasons I could point to, because we really achieved. Remember, we won the Tier 2 championship, when we went to the Premier League. You know what I mean? So it felt more for us when we qualified again, because it's 1 year down, qualified. A lot of clubs dropped and has not found their feet to get back up. So we are very grateful. And for the group of us that I used to do it, I don't think there's another Tier 2 team in the league that would have used so much schoolboys playing in the Tier 2 and have this kind of streak going.
What time your parade start tomorrow?
4 o'clock.
And you're gonna go through what? You're gonna just be in the area?
No, we're gonna go through a couple of community, adjoining community in St. Elizabeth. We'll start at Treasure Beach Park, and then we'll go through some adjoining community and head back to Jack Spratt in Treasure Beach, where our owner Jason Hensel will host the team there. For a celebration. It's something monumental. I mean, we'll be losing some of these boys to overseas, to scholarship and stuff. But we still want to give them a good send-off.
Well, that's very nice. What about you, Coach Stanley? You're gonna.
I must say this though. As a youth club, we are really, really enthralled. As you make mention that it is historic for the police.
Well, Coach Stanley, we're losing you.
So we as a police club, we have exceeded expectations. But in relation to our celebration, that will leave to the manager and some of our former overseas players who willing to help us with that celebration. So we don't have a time yet. We are planning to have a celebration, a bang, so to speak.
Okay, it sounds good. It sounds good because the players created miracle. When you get out Trelawney, when you get out the team down at Trelawney, you get out a big team because they've been trying for years. So I think they deserved, even a dinner, a lunch, something, to kind of show
most naturally, sir.
Appreciation. All right, coaches, congratulations again. More so to you, Coach Stanley, for winning the title, but both of you for achieving the initial objective of getting into the Premier League, and we're looking forward. It's Coach Ricketts, you should know it's going to be a rough road up there. Coach Stanley, prepare for the rough road, but who knows? Let's see what happens. Look at racing come up and almost make it to the knockout stage. So who knows? You just never know. All right, thanks again, coaches, and safe journey back to your respective destinations.
Thanks for having me, sir.
Not a problem. It's a pleasure, man. All right. So, Kenara Ricketts and Stanley Gardner, coaches of Treasure Beach and Spanish Town Police, respectively, coaches who have guided their teams to the Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League, and Ricketts winning the Tier 2 today in St. Anne at Drax Hall beating Treasure Beach by 2-0. Let's go for a break. When we come back, we'll continue with Sports Nation Live.
Calling all golfers. The 3rd annual Stories to Create charity golf tournament is happening on July 19 at the Constant Spring Golf Course, and you don't want to miss it. Come out and compete in 8 exciting challenges, from longest drive to beat the pro. And yes, you'll get your shot at $5 million in the hole-in-one contest. Prizes, surprises, and a powerful cause supporting youth and storytelling programs through EHAS Inc. Register now and swing with purpose. Visit ehasinc.org or email info@ehasinc.org, and we'll see you on the green.
Step into a world of floral captivity at the Flower Show 2025, presented by the Manchester Horticultural Society. Embrace nature's beauty and the finest greenery at the Flower Show on May 23, 2025, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Ward Avenue, Mandeville. Expect prizes, surprises, and demonstrations. Admission $900 and children under 12 free. Discover the latest trends in flora and beautify your space. The Flower Show 2025. Be there. Sponsored by Caribbean Chemicals Jamaica.
Welcome back to Sports Nation Live right here on Nationwide 90 FM. All right, we're going to be talking cricket now. The West Indies Cricket Development Academy Limited has partnered with Denby High School to help strengthen the school's cricket program. The non-profit organization, through their cricket partner, Cricket Hall of Fame, broke ground for a training infrastructure project at the Mapen Bay School on Monday. Now, the project aims to build 2 concrete pitches with fencing around them for the safety and benefit of future cricketers. Founder of the academy, Junior Codlin, says the project is expected to be completed for the start of the new term at a cost of over $3,500 US. And Codlin says they've decided to partner with the school, and they were approached by a group of students. We have online Junior Codlin, coach. Well, are you a coach, Junior?
I'm not a certified coach, but I am.
You're a coach.
Yes.
Yeah, man. The certificate don't have nothing to do with what that you're a coach. It just has to do with the status. But you're a coach, man. You're a coach. All right. So tell us about this project. I mean, you read something about it, but I'm sure you have more to tell us about it.
Yes, definitely. And good evening to yourself and all the nationwide viewers all over the world, and to our listeners as well here in Jamaica. This project that we are doing is a very significant project because the schools that are in and around the Denby High School doesn't have something like this that we are planning to inhabit there at the Denby High School. And the beauty about it is that it's not only going to benefit the students at Denby, but we are also going to entertain the schools that are in and around, because we are about, empowering these youths and guiding them, trying to channel them in a better and in a brighter way. And so this is one of the integral and main reason why we are doing this project, because we don't want to help one set of students, but we want to be able to impact cricket at the grassroots level in the Clarendon area.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so whilst the infrastructure will be placed down at Denby, Glenmuir and Garvey Maceo and Vere and Fogar Road and Central, and those schools can come down there, and once they structure the availability aspect of it, they can go down and use the facility as well.
Definitely, because what we want to do is to be able to, as an institution, we don't want to be seen as favoring one school, even though we chose Denby. We chose Denby because of several reasons. One, because the coach that was there walked away from there, and one of his biggest reasons was because of a lack of infrastructure. Now, to be very frank, he's the vice president of the Clarendon Cricket Association. So maybe some level of attention should be paid by the association as it regards to infrastructure where cricket is concerned in the parish. So when the students reach out to us and we went to the school and spoke with the administrators, we found that they don't really have the money to put these things in place. And so we decided as a responsible institution, we are not only going to do this for the school, but a part of the MOU that the school signed with us as an institution is to not only use the facility for their own benefit, but also for the communities and the schools that are in and around it.
How is that going to work though? Because the school is out of session at say 3:30 and the gates are closed. What if say Glenmuir just up the road? Let's just deal with Glenmuir. Glenmuir is like 10 minutes walk down the road to get to Denby, right? What if say Glenmuir, for instance, wants to use the facility at 4 o'clock when the school is closed? How do they work that out on a day when maybe Garvey Maseo wants to use it? How is that going to work?
Right, and so this now going to call for coordination between ourselves and these coaches and the school administrators, because they do have something that we don't have. What we are going to have is a world-class training facility. What we don't have is a cricket field to play actual match on it, because at the school, the facilities that are around in the school is not conducive to cricket match being played. But Glenmore has that. Garvey
Maseo, yes, Garvey Maseo.
Right, they have that. And so we will have to have a conversation. So we want, because as you would know, the Sir Peace Cricket Oval, it is the only cricket field in Clarendon to any reputable standard as it regards to cricket. Now, the Denby High School has to use Sir Peace Cricket Oval, but they have to use it at a cost, which the school sometimes can't bear the entire cost of that. So we want to say to Glenmore or Garvey that would you come into a partnership with us so we can use your cricket field whenever we have home match and it doesn't clash with your home match. And then now, from that understanding, we will be willing now to give preference and to work out days on which we train and on which they train in regards to using the facility.
When you say we, you're connected to Denby?
Yes. A part of the partnership and why we went in is because they complained that they don't have a coach since the coach walked away from them.
No, but I hear that. I'm just asking you, what's your attachment to Denby High School?
We completely took over their cricket program and putting in this infrastructure.
Oh, so you're the people running cricket at Denby High?
That is our intent.
Oh, because you keep saying we in relation to Denby. So I know you're the founder of the West Indies Cricket Development Academy Limited. So I was wondering what is your connection to Denby outside of trying to put down a cricket pitch?
Okay. Yeah, man, we are going to be giving them a coach and making sure that they become good competitors as it regards to their cricket program, because the younger thing they have to boast about when they were participating in the yearly run ISA Headley Cup, they beat Mayday one time. They didn't win any other match. They have never reached anywhere in the competition. So a part of what we are doing is kind of trying to change that, and we are using mind power, mental mindfulness, where we give them mind power training.
Yeah, man. I spent some time at Denby High too, so I know the place well, and I know why it can't play cricket. It's a dust bowl down at the field.
It is?
It is a dust bowl down at the field. The field that they have down there is not conducive to cricket because it's a dust bowl and the configuration of it. So
definitely.
Right. So let me ask you, this West Indies Cricket Development Academy Limited, where is it located? Where is that? Where is your base?
All right, we're located in Lioneltown, Clarendon, on Cannon Street. That's where I live, and that's where our office.
So the office is at your house?
A part of in the home. I have a place where I do my work at home. Yes.
Right. So the West Indies Cricket Development Academy is at your house?
Yes.
Good.
The office is at my house at the moment.
Oh, good. How many people you have on your staff, on your team?
All right, we have 5 people so far working along with us. Karen Adane. We have Teddy and Ron Codlin, which is my wife. We also have our secretary, Arlene Murray. We have our accountant, Michael Murray, and a few others working along with us, but they are the main people.
And they come to your house to work in the days? I mean, come to your office at your home?
No, they mostly work
remotely. All right, fine. So let me ask you a question. How are you funded? How do you get money to pay the members that you have on your team? How do you raise money?
No, we these members doesn't take pay. They volunteer.
Oh, volunteer. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Myself volunteer as well. So our funding come through our partnership that we have with the world's first cricket hall of fame based in Connecticut, United States. We also have several donors around the world. We also just got into partnership with the Windrush Association there in the UK. They are coming down in a week time to tour the facility at Denby to see what we are doing so they can disperse further funds for us to complete the project.
When is the project starting?
We are hoping to start construction early next month, around the 5th or the 6th of next month.
I see you've put a cost to the project. Where are you getting that money?
It will come from our donors.
Oh, from your donors, and you're confident you will get that money?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Who are you giving the project to do? Who doing it?
Well, we're still talking. I'm trying to use local people there on the ground in the community because we want to make them a part of what we are doing, and we want to also try to engraft these people and to give them something to feel a part of, so we're mainly looking for local workers there in the Denby community.
Any expertise from Cricket Jamaica? Or
no.
Consultation? I mean, since they're the governing body for cricket, you probably, they're used to having experts in doing these things, and if you want to do it right, why not consult with them? I mean, you don't have to give them the project, but at least, seek their expertise to see if you're on the right track in doing what you're doing.
Yes, but we have done assessment before. I did share the release with the JCI, and Mr. Francis very close, so I did share it with him. I also spoke with the cricket operational manager, Mr. Cookshan, and to share what we are doing with them. But in this as well, we are a private institution, and while we are beholden to the governing body, which is the JCA, we must also share a bit of independence. But I take your point, but I share with them, and from their point of view, they would have not expressed to me that they would have want to share any thought or so forth. But I would welcome that if they believe that they want to be a part of what we are doing, we would welcome them, because certainly more hands on deck and their blessing will go a far way, not only to bring our profile up, but also to give satisfaction to our international donors.
Yeah, man, I understand. I only asked that question because you say you're looking for locals to do it, and I was just wondering. I was just thinking aloud. It's not a big thing if you don't include them in terms of the actual work, but just because they're the governing body, I was thinking. But then you say you're a private entity, but you have West Indies Cricket Development Academy Limited.
Yeah.
The fact that you're using West Indies Cricket Development Academy, did you not have to go through them for ratification?
No, because we are registered with the Companies Office of Jamaica, so they do a name check and all the legal things before. And Cricket West Indies under the former president Dave Cameron would have changed their name from
West Indies Cricket Association to Cricket West Indies.
Right.
So you don't have a conflict there.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Fine. I understand. I just want to be. I want to be clear, and I want the listeners to be clear.
No, man. I'm happy for this question because it gives clarity to our organization.
Right, and it also speaks to anybody who wants to make donations so they can understand what you are and who you are.
Right. Yeah, man. I'm very, very happy for these questions.
Right. All right. So you're based in where you say again in Osborne Store? Where you say you're based?
No, we are based in Lionel Town, Clarendon.
Yeah.
Yes, on Cannon Street.
Right.
Let me tell you, Mr. Walker, we are an institution that came up during the COVID-19, the pandemic in 2020. And I look to myself and I say, as a fan of West Indies cricket, what can I do to change what is happening with West Indies cricket? What can I do to impact Jamaica cricket? And I saw that at the grassroots level, this is where we are mostly defeated. And this is the reason why I chose to come in at the grassroots level and start. We're not only trying to put down facilities at the infrastructure at the Denby High School. Just in December, we sent away 6 players to the United States to play in the U.S. Open. They got hefty money for their involvement. We took care of their plane fare and hotel because of our consultation and our partnership that we have with these international people that we are working along with. The Cricket Hall of Fame has been a tremendous partner of ours, and also Cricket Council USA.
Cricket Hall of Fame, is it the same organization that Mr. Simpson is involved with?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay. I spoke with him about 3 weeks ago. He's not doing so well.
Yeah, man, I know that. But Michael Chambers is the executive director. Is also from Clarendon, and this is why this project went ahead of the other projects. We also run a women's tournament in Portland every year, and we did one in Clarendon on Easter Monday, April 21st, that Melbourne won that tournament. We spent over $1 million on those women cricketers April 21st. The other day.
I like what I'm hearing from you, Junior Codlin. I really do. So though you're based in Clarendon, you're willing to spread your wings, because at the end of the day, you're interested in cricket and not just cricket in Clarendon or at the school level. Right? It seemed to me that you spread your wings across the country.
Definitely. And what Clarendon Cricket Association should be intimidated by my presence or by what I am trying to do. What they need to do is to reach out to me and say to me, we understand what you are doing. Come on board and come under our umbrella and do this. You can keep your name, you can keep your institution, but work along with us as a partner. That's what I want for them to do. I don't want to compete with them. I don't want to be the president of Clarendon Cricket Association, but I want to be invited to the table.
So do you talk to Mr. Fritz Harris?
Yes, I spoke with him, and my biggest contention is
yes,
every cricket that is being played, Mr. Walker, in Clarendon at the moment is Masters cricket. Nothing is happening for women. That's why I had to bring in an international investor to come and run a women tournament in Clarendon for $1 million. We did not get any support from Clarendon Cricket Association.
Who is your president, Fritz Harris?
Yes.
Is Fritz your president?
Yeah, man.
And he's also the vice president at Jamaica Cricket.
Right.
Well, you have a powerful man down there, Junior. How you not getting anything?
This is what I'm saying. So if he's listening tonight, I want for him to contact me. We got Ungo balls from JCA and their blessing. That's what we got from them. But the Clarendon Cricket Association, we didn't get anything from them. So what I am saying to Mr. Harris and to those that involved with cricket in Clarendon, I am here, I am based in Clarendon, I am born in Clarendon, I have international people. I have people that ready to invest in cricket, but they will not invest without I have a seat at the table. I don't want to be the president.
But
I
Junior,
just want to be invited.
Hold on, the Junior man. We start out with this pitch thing, but it sounds as if Fitz think you want him work.
Well, I am hearing chatters like they said, but I'm not interested in being the president.
You sure? You don't want to be the president of the Clarendon Cricket Association? Why not? Why would you want to be the president? Why would you not? You have such good ideas. Why would you not want to be the president?
Because, Mr. Daly, sometimes, rather Mr. Walker, sometimes being in the background, you get to do things a lot better than being at the front. I'm not saying that one day I wouldn't harbor those intentions, but right now at the moment, I want to be able to focus at the grassroots level and to try to help these youngsters that keep reaching out.
Who is preventing you from having a seat at the table?
They are preventing me.
Why? How are they preventing you?
Because they never include me in anything, despite of them knowing that I am around and I want to be involved. They never call me to a meeting. I send letters to them. They said they would have a meeting with me. Until now, that meeting is not had. And I'm a man that they know is bringing investment into the parish.
Have you applied for membership? Have you applied for membership?
No, I have never tried to apply.
Why not? Because if you apply for membership, then it will get you closer to a seat at the table. You can't sit outside, Junior, and you have to go in. Why don't you apply?
But Mr. Walker, I don't know if there is a portal for me to apply.
So what you do? You just say you're Courtney, a good friend. Call Courtney Francis on Monday. Tell him that you're desirous of becoming a member of the Clarendon Cricket Association, given the fact that you're so actively involved in everyday life in cricket. As a matter of fact, you're just the right person to be a part of the membership and even of the executive. You need to talk to Courtney about it, because I'm detecting something here between you and Fritz.
Yeah, because you see, my contention is, Mr. Walker, and to your listeners, is that in Clarendon, Ungo cricket that is being played at the Sir Peace Cricket Oval consistently is Masters cricket. There's no Clarendon run youth cricket. So the youths are not being given an opportunity to develop. And our youths are not being paraded as other parish, and especially in Kingston where there's glorious opportunity. I want to be able to sit at the table and to advocate for cricket at the youth level in Clarendon.
Try become a member first, and once you're in, the other members will see that you're doing the work. And no matter who is the president, if your work is there for people to see or for it to be seen, there's no way that you're going to be. But you need, first of all, to become a member of the Clarendon Cricket Association. You can't be doing this kind of work in the parish and you don't have a seat at the table, as you say. So you need to sort this out. Call Dr. Bennett or Courtney Francis on Monday and try to get this sorted. You have to be a member of the Clarendon CA.
Yeah, man, I'll take your advice.
Yes,
on
man.
That.
And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to personally follow up on this with you.
Yes. I would love that. You know, one of the things that I want to incorporate if I get a seat at the table, because this is what we are going to do at the Denby High School as well. What we are trying to do, Mr. Walker, and to your listeners, is try to use Denby and to place Denby, which is situated in a geographical centered area that has the other schools in its surrounding. We want to be able to build this world-class training facility for cricketers and also have a mind power center there where we can help to give these players something to look forward to expect to go. When you look in our Issa run, George Headley Cup and seeing teams being bowled out for 17, being bowled out for 9, it's not necessarily good they don't good enough, but these players need something more to want to play for. They want opportunity. They want to know that if they choose cricket will choose them, and it can get them out of poverty and degradation. We want to be able to teach them to think critically, and to think critically they will be able to make good decisions, and when things face them, they will not lie down and take it, but they will challenge their challenge, and if they challenge their challenge, then they can overcome, and then they can be better people. And even if they don't make it in cricket, we will teach them the values where education can bring them from poverty to prosperity. And in that, we are making West Indies cricket, and by and large, Jamaica cricket great again.
Hold on now, Junior. You're gone past poverty to prosperity. I did say you go. All right. So what school you went to, Junior?
I went to the Bustamante High School, and also I went to Mind Power University.
And Bustamante is up in Mucko, right?
No, man, in Lionel Town, Clarendon.
Oh, you're down that side. Is Lennon up Mucko?
Yes.
Oh, I'm mixing them up. Sorry about that. I'm mixing them up. All right. Well, it seems like you have something good going. You just need to work things out with the president, because something like this pitch that you're putting down that will benefit the schools, the president should be massively involved in something like this. Matter of fact, when it finishes, he's supposed to come down, give it his blessings, and encourage you to take it to other places. You can't be separate entities when you're working for the good of cricket in the parish. That don't sound so good to me at all.
Right. I'm planning on inviting nationwide, and I'm planning on inviting Mr. Harris and other people when we finish this facility and he's having the ribbon
the cutting.
Right, we are planning to do that. Mr. Harris knows me. He knows what I am capable of. He knows what I bring to the table. He needs to give me a seat at the table.
Well, tell him you don't want him work, and then you would probably good. You laugh. Fritz probably think you're preem, you know.
Well, he needs to. We because when we were doing the women's tournament, we had to go through him because we wanted to go through him out of respect. And be able to say to him, this is what we are doing in your parish and so forth. When cricket is being played at Sabina Park, we rub shoulder together and have chats. When Clarendon is playing at the Jamaica Sport Club, we do have drinks and we do have rapport, but he has to understand we are serious about this. We want to be able to sit at the table, and we want to be able to influence what happens where cricket is concerned in Clarendon.
Junior Codlin, I like what I'm hearing from you, and I encourage you to try to get into the inner sanctum of Clarendon cricket, if not Jamaica's cricket, and see, because it seems as if you can make a difference. It was good talking to you, and as I say, I'm personally going to follow up with you on that, and let's see how far it goes, yeah?
Yeah, man, I appreciate you so much, and I appreciate your listeners, the executive of Nationwide, for giving me this opportunity It's truly a magnificent opportunity to tell Jamaica who I am and what I am and what we are prepared to do for cricket. On behalf of Michael Chambers, the Executive Director of the Cricket Hall of Fame, he's thrilled and he's happy. He's listening as we speak at the moment over on YouTube. He's very happy that you all would have given us this opportunity because, you know, it makes no sense we are doing all of this and Jamaica
don't know about it. And I have to give credit to Alex Swaby because he was the one who brought it to my attention, really.
He's a tremendous guy. I spoke with him and he gave me an opportunity and, you know, I am very grateful to him as well. And I am grateful to all of our well-wishers out here in Jamaica. Thank you so much for believing in this young man that is trying to make a difference in Clarendon cricket.
Junior Codlin, have a good evening, brother.
Thank you so much.
All right, so Junior Codlin there, the founder of the West Indies Cricket Academy Limited, Development Academy Limited. All right, we're going to close out with a bit of cricket, yeah? I think we've got 6 minutes of things to share with you. The Cricket West Indies officially launched their We Home Full of Energy Home Series campaign in Barbados on Friday, and the series will feature West Indies women against South Africa June 11 to 23, West Indies men against Australia, first test June 25, and the series will go up to the 28th of July, and then the West Indies against Pakistan July 31 to August 12. Let's listen to a CEO of Cricket West Indies, Chris Deering, who was one of the presenters at the launch.
This morning, we're launching our Fuller Energy series, our home series that will be taking place across the Caribbean. Of course, you know, we welcome Australia very shortly on the men's side, but even before that, we welcome South Africa on the women's side here to Barbados. Then we'll move on to Grenada. To Grenada on the men's side, and then on to Jamaica before we have our T20 series. We believe that this is an opportune moment for Cricket West Indies. And it has nothing to do with coinciding with my return to the wicket. But really, world cricket is at a very sensitive and important juncture. And it's no different for Cricket West Indies and the West Indies cricket teams, male and female, because of everything that is happening in the global world of the sport, that we are well poised to take advantage. There's so many opportunities for our young cricketers today that did not exist when greats like Sir Wesley Hall and Sir Gordon Greenidge. I have to tell you, it is a special thrill for me to be here in the presence of such greatness. Geez, if I could call you that, I can't tell you how many times I stood in my bedroom rehearsing a pull shot, my foot cocked up like you, wondering if I could ever meet you. Sir Wes, obviously I didn't get to see much of your playing days, although I did see you once at a double wicket competition at Sabina Park as a youngster. But you and I toured the world together, and we had such wonderful moments. And I have to tell you that, hopefully you won't charge me too much in royalties, but I've used several of your jokes in many speeches. But we're here today to talk about the Test series. We met yesterday with Prime Minister Motley, the President and I, and across the Caribbean, we in the region actually look up to Prime Minister Motley as somebody who has fought for human rights and dignity. We do admire her. At Cricket West Indies, we believe that it is a human right for every child to have access to Test cricket, to be able to come to Test cricket. It is a human right in the Caribbean for our children to be able to come to cricket. And so this year, for the first time, we're instituting as a policy across the board that every child should be able to come to Test cricket for free. You don't need a ticket. It is your right. A ticket is something for paid patrons, not your right. And if it is a right of our children, then it is the duty of our parents and our associations and our governments and our, every adult, big brother and sister, to ensure that our children have access to that right. Bring your children. It is their right. This is a product and an institution that we all have a vested interest in the Caribbean. No place more than Barbados, the home of the greatest cricketer who ever walked the face of the planet. And when I say that, he's the greatest because I don't even have to mention his name. We all know. This is a home. This is a spiritual home of West Indies cricket that gave the world the most entertaining form of the sport. So much so that they tried to imitate it by creating limited overs, because they wanted everybody to play the way we did. And then they tried to imitate it the way we celebrated off the field by the partying and so on. And they've packaged it. But it was ours. And so we need to keep it. So this year, Full of Energy, wonderful song by Michael Teja, is going to be the backdrop for this entire home series. We're looking forward to starting the women's white ball series here against South Africa with a victory. We're looking forward to a victory against possibly Test champions, Australia. They're going to be playing off in the World Test Championship shortly, and hopefully we'll have then the opportunity to beat the number one in the world. And in the white ball series, things have taken an even more dramatic turn. Because not only are we looking to improve our rankings in both the ODIs and T20 world rankings, but we now have a special target that we're aiming for, and that's the Olympics. And 2 days ago, we launched our offensive to ensure that the Caribbean is never left behind, no matter what format the Olympics takes. It is in 2028 in Los Angeles, and we intend to have a West Indian team there. So children, demand and fight for your right to attend Test cricket. Make sure mommy and daddy delivers what you are entitled to. It's part of your education. This wonderful legacy called the West Indies. So I look forward to full support. Ticket prices are very reasonable and on sale now. And every child, has the right to attend. You don't need a ticket.
All right, that's CEO of Cricket West Indies, Christopher Daring, talking about the upcoming series the West Indies will be involved with, yeah? All right, we've got some final scores in games played today in the Jamaica Women's Premier League. I think there are some major league and championships in CASAFA games are played today. I think they're night games at Constant Spring. All right, let me give you the score lines in the games today. Cavalier against Arnett Gardens. That game ended 2-0. 2-all actually. 2-all. Cavalier 2, Arnett Gardens 2. Chanel Spence and Shirley scoring for Cavalier. And for Arnett Gardens, Brianna Cosby and Tashani Hamilton So it was 1-all. Spence scored first. Crosby responded for Arnett. Then Shirley gave Cavalier the lead, and then Hamilton bagged the equalizer for them. By the way, this is funny. Cavalier playing Arnett tomorrow in the Premier League, and the women's team met today. All right. So Los Perfectas, they swamped Federal United by 9-0. Yeah. Sashana Campbell scored 5 of those goals. In fact, 6 of those goals for Los Perfectas. Venetia Stringbean Reed, she got 1. Tashika Hamilton and Shonda Mulling scored. So 9-0, Los Perfectas over Federal United. It was 4-0 for Fraser's Whip, the champions, over UWI, up at UWI. And 2 goals came from Nevigale Abel from Fraser's Whip in the 36th and 56th. Chanel Buckley and Akeelia Johnson scored the other goals. Let's see. Proven Girls and Wi-Fi United ended 1-1. Vanessa Lee scoring for Proven Girls. Wi-Fi got their goal from Evernie McCleary in the 66th minute. and the match was abandoned. That's the Marlgully versus Real Mobile game abandoned in the 26th minute due to a waterlogged field. It didn't give us a score in that one. Yeah. All right, we've come to the end of another Sports Nation Live for another week here on Nationwide 90 FM. Yeah, there are one or two people who have been with us right from the start, but we're just going to say hi to PB in our YouTube land and, country. That country is spelled Kuntry. And, of course, there's David Nabar on managed to keep our company for us today. And, Marigold Weber was a part of who were on today as well. Paul Peart, Gene Sellers and so on. Thank you so much for keeping us company. Yeah, people dip in and out. And Marigold Weber telling people goodbye. Excellent show, she said. Thank you. Lots of love to the family. Thank you so much, Marigold Weber, and the other people who have stayed with us. And we'd like to say thank you so much as well to Kevin Williams, who kept things almost perfect on the opposite side of the glass, and my co-host Alric Swaby, who assisted. You might not have seen him a lot, but he assisted greatly in getting the guests and making the show what it turned out to be. We're going to be back next week to do it all over again. Until then, I'm Wayne Walker. I can't tell you to join me at church tomorrow, but join Alric at church tomorrow. Alric, what's the address? Tower Hill Missionary. What Olympic Way? 159 Olympic Way. So go down there, you see Alric, you'll get his autograph. All right, so we've come to the end of the show. Have a good night, people.